There's a domed ceiling at 13,000 feet.
Can you prove that?
They put us on a ball. It's a prison for our mind.
How do you know that?
At the center of the Earth, there's the black rock.
Is it true?
I don't have any proof of that. The question is, what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica? I don't know. No one's allowed to go there. I don't want you to believe the nuclear bombs aren't real. I want you to know that they're not real.
What book is that?
It's so dumb, Apollo. There is no gravity. Admit it. Suck it up. We were all wrong. Wait a minute. I just dropped my iPhone and it went down. Great question. NASA.
Oh, okay. And what's the source of their information?
Because it's true.
By default.
Because where did you get your degree? Because scientists. Because of science.
We saw pictures from NASA.
Pictures from NASA.
David Weiss, it's good to see you.
Apollo, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. I always love talking about this with anybody that is willing to listen.
It's been a long time planning.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it via Zoom. I can't stand it.
I get it. When I'm on Zoom, I use all my audio visuals and stuff, and it's good, but I'm talking, I'm pulling up stuff. This is way more relaxed for me. We're talking, if I have to pull up something, I got my iPad here, and it's going to be a great conversation.
Okay. Let's start from the very beginning. So, Earth is flat, up to you. Do you know that, or do you believe it?
I absolutely know it. And then, see, that's the thing. People go, Earth is a globe. And I'm like, okay. So let me give you a little analogy. I've used this. So off of my town, there's 2 islands that you can go hang out at, like beachy islands. One of them's called Island Beach. The other one's called Captain's Island Beach. So we're going to debate which one is better. You take Captain's, and I'm going to take Island Beach. Okay. I'm going to say Island Beach is better because it has a concession stand. Now, only tell me truths about Captain's Island. Go ahead.
I know nothing about this island.
Oh, so you know nothing about it?
No, nothing.
So then you're not the right person to debate me on this. Correct?
Correct.
All right. So I agree with that. So we get globe people all the time that come on and they say, the Earth is a globe. You guys are idiots. And they go crazy. And I say, okay, what's the radius of your Earth? I don't know. What's the circumference? I don't know. How fast is it spinning at the equator? How far is it from the sun? How did they figure that out? How big is the sun? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, and you want to debate me on the shape of the Earth? You know how I became a flat earther? I learned the heliocentric globe model. And I saw how ridiculous it was.
Like we all did in school.
Yeah. No. They didn't teach you. They didn't teach you the true model. They said, "Okay, we're going around the sun, we're spinning," but they never talked about the speeds. They never talked about how the Earth travels 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where it was before, for billions of years, and none of the stars ever changed. They don't talk about parallax. They don't talk about the angular resolution limits of our eyes. They don't talk about, hey, across Lake Michigan, I can see Chicago 57 miles away. Right? And I can't see the very, very bottom of the lowest buildings, but I can see the rest. Well, the top of the tallest building should be a couple hundred feet below the curve, but we can see the whole city. So they don't teach us to actually take measurements. And, so basically the bottom line is there's so much to talk about with flat Earth, stuff to speculate on, but stuff to, try to figure it out. But the basic scientific debunking of the globe is the radius. The line from the center of the Earth to the surface. It's 3,959 miles. That's been debunked because the radius tells us the circumference. The radius tells us how much curvature there is over a certain distance, and we can see things far beyond that physical limitation of a globe. So the radius has been debunked. What does that mean? That means that all of the planetary distances, the moon, the sizes, that's been debunked. Space travel's been debunked. Our solar system's been debunked. Everything has been debunked when the radius is debunked. The Earth is flat, and it's provably so.
Let's stick to the basics. So if the Earth is flat, how thick it is then?
The deepest hole ever dug is the Kora borehole in Russia. America and Russia worked on it together for years. And they got down to 7.8 miles, I think, just under 8 miles. And they hit a barrier that they couldn't get through. They tried everything. And they couldn't get through it. They tried for years. And there's some crazy stories that come out of there. There's just stories like they put a microphone down there. They heard some really weird stuff. I actually heard it. I get chills just talking about it. I never want to hear it again. But take all that away. That's the deepest hole they've ever dug. So if the Earth was a Macintosh apple, they drilled a quarter of the way through that thin skin. And while they were drilling, they were doing ground penetrating radar to say, oh, there's no more rocks. Oh, then they hit more rocks. Okay, there's no more water. Oh, they hit more water, right? So the ground penetrating radar was wrong for the first 7.8 miles. Then they hit an impenetrable barrier, and then all of a sudden we know what the next 4,000 miles is.
Right. How?
Yeah, no, that's all made up pseudoscience. We've all seen the image in our textbooks of the cross section of the Earth. You got the mantle, you got the molten magnetic core. That's a problem. But that's just pseudoscience. It's just made up. They couldn't tell you what was in the top half of the skin,
right,
let alone the core. So they just make it up. They sell it as a fact. They tell it to you when you're 5, and then you believe it for your whole life.
Well, okay, but do you know how thick the Earth is?
No, nobody does.
It's impossible to measure?
No, you can't get past 8 miles.
Okay, so if the Earth is flat, that means on there's an ice wall.
So the ice wall is a little bit of a psyop. Everyone knows the ice wall from the Game of Thrones, right? The little guy. Well, a lot of people they make it look like a wall at the end of the Earth. That's not the case, right? My tea here. You couldn't give this to me without a container. The cup.
Right.
Without the container, it needs to be contained. So liquids need to be contained.
Right.
So large bodies of water need to be contained. So if you had a lake, what's the container for the lake? The land that's higher than the water.
Right.
And if you lowered that land below the height of the water,
it's going to spill.
The water is going to flow away. So if we look at all the continents of the world and take their average elevation and we rank them, Antarctica is number 1, and it's over twice as high as number 2. So Antarctica isn't an island, a continent at the bottom of the ball. Antarctica is the shoreline that goes all the way around our world pond. Think of all the oceans as a giant pond and all the continents as islands within it. Antarctica is the shoreline that holds our water in. The question is, what's past the shoreline of Antarctica?
Right. But Antarctica is not mountains. It's just ice.
No, there's mountains. There's mountains in Antarctica. They call them... the names of the mountains are very weird, but there's supposedly mountains there higher than Everest, but they don't tell us about that.
But how do you know that?
Well, this is information that we have from some explorers, from old encyclopedias. The encyclopedia from 1958 says at 80 or 85 degrees, I forget, 80 degrees south, which is way south, farther than anyone is allowed to go and independently, they say that there's a domed ceiling at 13,000 feet.
What book is that?
This is the Encyclopedia Americana from 1958.
Americana Encyclopedia? Encyclopedia Americana from...
See if I have an image of that.
1958.
Yeah.
Said there's a dome
ceiling
in the South Pole. There is a well-known claim that circulates in flat Earth communities and has been thoroughly fact-checked. What the encyclopedia actually said. The 1958 Encyclopedia Americana Volume 2 contained a passage about early U.S. Antarctic flights. The flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, what the dome actually means here. The word dome here refers to an ice dome, a geographic, glaciological feature.
But they're saying the tops of mountains, they call them domes. Right. So you can make up excuses for everything. And that's what the globe does. It just makes up excuses. It's an interesting point. Doesn't prove anything. It's just an interesting point that our old encyclopedias talk about stuff that's been removed. Why did they remove that from the current encyclopedia? Why doesn't it still say that? You know, and I'm sure you've looked into the old world, all the old buildings of this world, Tartaria type stuff. The textbooks before 1910 talked about when the Native Americans were here, when Columbus came here, that there were cities, buildings that were here already, deserted, and nobody knew where they came from. They were here already. All of that's been removed from our textbooks after the Rockefellers took over.
Can you prove that?
If you can find a textbook before 1910, yes. I've seen one. I don't have one, and I'm gonna look for one, but I don't have one personally. But here's the thing. Look at these old buildings. Look at, watch My Lunch Break on YouTube. He's one of the greatest guys that are looking at these old buildings. None of them have blueprints. None of them have any construction records. And the story is how they were constructed in the early 1900s or late 1800s in 1 year, like with no power tools and horse and buggies. It's all impossible stuff. So our history of of the civilization on Earth is a lie, and the nature of our world that we live on is the biggest lie. I love your skepticism of like, let me see the proof of that. We don't need to go back in history. You don't have to believe the story of Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago did his sticks and shadows, to prove the radius of the Earth, because that's been already debunked. We can go measure it ourselves, easy, with our naked eyes, or get a super zoom camera or a telescope. We can see things beyond the required physical limit of a globe of the diameter that they tell us.
Let's stick to Antarctica. So you said, what's behind the wall? What's behind those mountains?
The shoreline, right? You go to Antarctica, there's like a 200-foot plateau. What's out there? There's no free and independent exploration. All the countries in the world that are warring with each other, they all agree nobody can go to Antarctica. And
that's a fact.
No, well, you can't go. They'll say, yes, you can. You can buy a trip. All these people go. Thousands of people go. Not thousands. Some people go every year, but they only take you to the very tip of Antarctica. The very, that little spit that comes out near South America. They take you to a little island there, and that's all they let you see. They only take you to. I can share this with you. Let me do that. So I'm going to show you the bases. So they only take you there. There's 2 little islands that they take you to, and one of them is called Deception Island, and the other one's called, I believe it's Rothschild Island. Really weird.
I wish we have never had this conversation, but here we are. I am bankrupt, which means I spend more than I earn. And as you can see, I don't live a luxury life. I don't have Gucci T-shirts, I don't buy Porsches, I don't live in a mansion or something, I don't go out, we don't eat in a restaurant even once in 2 or 3 weeks. All the money that I spend is basically housing and the groceries. That's it. And I spend all my money to keep this podcast going. I love what I do, but it's just not sustainable at this point. Although I have 100,000 subscribers, I do not have any sponsors. I have morals, values, and principles. That's why I'm not selling you any scam, any bullshit, anything that I would have never used myself. I'm not begging you for donations. I just ask you to consider if you like the podcast that I do, if you like the content that I bring you, and if you can, click this QR code or find the link in the description below and buy me a coffee. Even $5 is great help. If you can, make it monthly. This will help a lot. For example, for this specific episode, I traveled from Los Angeles to Vegas just to have a sit down and record a podcast with the one and only David Weiss. I can't stand Zoom. I believe Zoom podcasts, Zoom conversations are very artificial, and they're just not real. They just don't feel natural. I'm not willing to sacrifice quality for quantity. I'm not willing to sacrifice you, my audience, just to advertise you some shit. That's why I'm asking you to consider supporting my channel if you enjoy watching my podcast. And if you can, no worries. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. It's free. Leave a comment below. It's free. Like this video and send it to all your friends, peers, and loved ones. It's still free, and this will still help my channel a lot. And now, without any further ado, let's get back to the podcast with the one and only Flat Earth Dave.
So those.
Okay, so this is South America. This is Argentina. Okay,
yeah. So right out there where those cluster dots are, where your mouse is, that's where there's like a little island out there that they take you to. So you're familiar with United States. I'm from the East Coast, so I want to use an example up there. Long Island. You know about Long Island?
Of course.
Right. So Long Island, you have the South Shore of Long Island, it goes to the ocean. Then 40, 50 miles across Long Island, it would be the North Shore, Long Island Sound, then Connecticut, and then across the country, California. So if you came from, let's say you'd never been to America, and we took you from England, and we took you on a boat, and we bring you to the South Shore of Long Island, and you say, hey, you can go anywhere here within 1 mile. You can just explore this area and take pictures. Do you know what's on the South Shore of Long Island? Do you know what's in Connecticut? Do you know what's in Michigan or California?
Or Texas.
Well, you don't know. You wouldn't know anything other than the little area that they take you to. So when people say, you can go to Antarctica, there's bases. So see all those bases, all those are known bases, but that's inverted. Go to the second picture. The second picture is how those are the bases. The shoreline of Antarctica surrounds our pond. And if you notice on the left-hand side, there's no bases for that area. That area, because look how that area doesn't stick out as far. It goes farther out, and there's no sunlight over there. There's no bases over there.
Okay, but if this is the true model of the Earth, it means the distance from this, let's say, base to this base is incredibly far.
Yeah, incredibly far. And that's why nobody goes from like the base off of Santiago to the base off of Australia. No two people like, hey, I'll come to your base, we'll have lunch. Never happens.
How do you know that?
Because it doesn't happen. They'd have to prove it. But nobody's ever done it. Nobody's gone from Australia to the base off of South America. If somebody wants to go to Antarctica, they go from Australia, I believe, to the United States, then to South America, then to Australia. Why don't they just go the other way, short little distance, and jump over to their base over there?
Okay, so if this is true, if Antarctica is no man's land, it's only, let's say, 40-something countries. How many countries did they sign the agreement?
Well, at first there was a handful, but now there's like almost every major country has signed it. All the countries that matter.
So it does not belong to any country. It belongs to...
That's what they say. They say that Antarctica was restricted because of they wanted to protect the ice and the penguins. This was in
The penguins?
The penguins. The migratory paths of the penguins. We didn't want to disturb them. So environmentalism, before it was even a word, was the reason that all these countries signed the Antarctic Treaty. The Antarctic Treaty says that there's no free and independent exploration of Antarctica. Now, the Globers will argue that there was a kid just last year that wanted to fly his plane to every country, and he flew to Antarctica without a flight plan. He just flew to Antarctica. And he landed in Antarctica and was immediately arrested. This kid is a social media guy, posts on everything 10, 20 times a day, hasn't posted since. Don't know what happened to him.
They took his phone.
Well, I mean, this has been like over a year. So where is he? How come he hasn't posted?
He still didn't post.
He hasn't posted since that happened, and it was a year or more ago.
You think he's dead?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he saw. It depends on what he saw,
Okay, so if this is true, it means that all those countries agreed to hide this, let's say, truth.
Yeah.
How is it possible? How can Americans and Chinese and Russians and Iranians come up together with this idea to hide the truth from the people if they are enemies, quote unquote?
So that enemies, right? The division, borders between countries, like Canadians and Americans, what's the difference? How do you know which is a Canadian, which is American? Because an imaginary line that the governments, nobody trusts the government says, well, this is Canada, this is America, and you guys are different. You have different rights and you have different things, right? So they make up all these rules. We're at war with Iran right now. Have the Iranians been bothering you for the last couple decades, personally?
Me personally, never.
Never. Have you ever said, I want to get those damn Iranians? No.
Never.
Right? Nobody has. But the governments are fighting. The governments are like, oh, we're going to do this, and Israel says this, and Russia's going to do this. All of these wars, they're all in it together. It's a big show to keep us fighting, keep us separated. They want us separated. They don't want us coming together. Collective consciousness is their biggest threat. They want us, you know what louche energy is? So they want us all fighting. Like if Israel wanted to take out Palestine, they can do it in an hour, right? They have the weapons to just completely obliterate the place,
right.
But they want to drag this out. America, could we have taken out, where were we, Afghanistan in a day? Probably. Okay, let's give it a week, right? But we did it for how many years? 20 years.
Lots of money.
Well, lots of money, lots of stress, lots of pain, lots of louche energy, because this is a demonic spiritual war that we're in. Now, here's how you win a spiritual war. You convince everybody that there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm. The best thing the devil did, he convinced everybody he does not exist.
Right. And so there's really, I mean, once you start looking into this, and I didn't always believe this stuff, but it's absolutely true. I'll tell you a story that I was at Anarchapulco, the conference in Mexico. I speak there for the last 3 years. And I was talking to the shaman there, and he told me this story, and I checked it, and you can check it too. He says in Bali, the natives believe that demons live underneath the ground there. And for, I don't know how long, but forever, they do every year on one day, they have a demonic festival. Like the parade is crazy, demons and devils and everything. And they sacrifice some animals. A lot of people say that children go missing, but you can't find that in the mainstream. And then when it's over, everyone goes back to their homes. Visitors go back to their hotels. The power's turned off for 24 hours and no one's allowed to go outside or make any noise for 24 hours. Every year they do this. And the story is that the demons come out and clean up all the loosh that's been spilt over the year. I look at loosh like it's not something like, something that dissipates. Like you spill your loosh, it's like an oil spill. It just sits there until it's cleaned up. So the demons come out, they eat, if that's the right word, all the loosh, then they go back. So there's a symbiotic relationship between the natives and the demons. Both are happy. They don't interfere with each other.
Yeah, but they can loosh not only with the war, they can loosh, and they do with, let's say, sports, entertainment,
roller coasters, scary movies, and by design, we're in this system. They're farming us. They're literally farming us for loosh, and they're very efficient farmers. And so if you don't give them their loosh, right, the opposite of loosh would be love, right? If you don't give them their loosh, they lose interest in you quickly and they go somewhere else to get it. They don't care what side of the argument, ball, flat, New York Giants, New York Jets, red, left, political. They don't care as long as you're fighting. They just want us fighting. They want us separated. They want us scared. The globe model is a satanic model, and it's a model of fear. Asteroid's going to wipe us out. Sun's going to explode. We're running out of fuel. Right? They want us believing in lack. We're running out of food. We're overpopulated. It's all lies. Right? You could take the population of the world, and everybody can live in Texas, and half of Texas would be empty. Right? So it's incredible how much space there is. And that's with the number they give us, 8 billion people. I think there's 2 billion people, maybe.
So they say that population of China's population.
Yeah, so this is good.
So I did this exercise a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but while you're looking that up.
1.4. Mm-hmm.
1.4 billion.
Yes.
Right. So they went from 500 million to 1.25 billion in, I think it was 20 years, something like that. So that would require every couple to have 5 children. This happened during their one-child rule.
Mm-hmm. Impossible.
It's all impossible.
So
why would they lie, Apollo? Why would they lie?
So I asked AI, please take top 50 Chinese cities from the most populated and add those numbers up. So it's going to take 50 biggest, most populated Chinese cities, and it's going to add up all those numbers. And we're going to get, I have the top 36, okay. Guess what number will we get?
Less than a billion.
Less than a billion. I want to say it's around 500 or 700
Yeah, something
million.
like that.
So where's another billion there?
They're on the little villages.
In the little villages?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I want to give a little warning about AI. AI is fantastic. We can get great information, but they're going to pull the trigger one day, and AI is going to lie about everything. It's already starting to lie, right? I had AI was giving us such great answers, and then they upgraded it, and now it changed. And so soon, kids, when we talk to kids, they can't think without AI. They're like, well, I'll just ask AI. I'll just ask AI. They're not thinking. They're turning off our brains, right? In school, the education system is really the indoctrination system. Education would be, hey, let's figure this out. You and I take my iPhone apart. We're going to educate ourselves on how this thing works, right? But in school, they don't do that. They just tell you in the textbook, and then you memorize it and regurgitate it, and you get an A. Your parents are happy. They get you ice cream, and then you get a certificate that says you are now qualified to teach this to the next generation. That's indoctrination.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The top 50 cities combined hold roughly 337 million. So it means 1 billion is missing.
Yeah.
Mental exercise for the audience. Where is 1 more billion of population of China? Where?
So-
in the villages, in the mountains, hiding?
It's all about control, right? That way they can make up numbers. Yeah, we did a survey and 1 billion people said this.
right.
What billion people?
Right.
Where?
Chinese is so big, it's so scary.
Right.
If they invade us, they're gonna take over us.
No Chinese person wants to invade us, right? China has a better quality of life than us. We're like, oh, they're all suppressed. No, go to China. It's amazing. I've not been there, but I have friends that have gone there. I'm friends with some Chinese people that go back and forth all the time. And they have a better, freer life than we have here in America.
Yeah, but during COVID, we've all seen those videos how they were locked up.
You know what?
If that was true.
I don't know if it's true. And they did crazy stuff here also. They did crazy stuff here. Like my mother, she was 94, and they literally wouldn't let her see her. She died alone because of stupid COVID. It's crazy.
Where is it right now?
What's that?
Where's the COVID right now? Is it just
It's
gone?
coming. It's getting ready to come back.
It's
It's
gone.
going to make a comeback. Follow.
Okay, let's go Antarctica, okay? So you've never been to Antarctica.
No, I was invited to go a free trip, but it was based on a false premise by some very evil, not honest people. And I said, I'm not interested, right? Because they were going to, there was a big deception there back in 2024 where they took some people. It was supposed to be designed for me because I was been waking up too many people with my app, with with all the interviews I'm doing, and they wanted to take me down. But I have a very good sense of evil. I just met you.
Discernment.
I can tell you're a good guy. I can tell before you open your mouth, right? I can tell. I got an email and I felt literally demonic forces, right? And it was like, well, we're doing this experiment. I'm like, what's the experiment? You're looking at the sun? Like, wait, what? And then a second email, and I replied back, I don't deal with demons. Don't ever contact me again. And it turned into a whole ordeal. But they ended up taking down the biggest anti-flat earth paid agents to Antarctica. And they were the first ones ever to film a 24-hour sun down there. No institution, no explorers, nobody, but these guys filmed it for the first time. It's crazy. And
Okay,
there's so many problems.
Why don't you go there on your own?
I could, and I'd actually like to, but it takes a lot of time. It takes like weeks and a couple of weeks. You have to go stage, and it costs. If you're lucky, you can do it for $10,000. It's probably more like $30,000 or $40,000 if you're lucky. And what am I going to do there? What is it going to do? Is it going to prove the shape of the Earth?
To see the 24-hour sun.
But what does that prove? So if you think that the 24-hour sun in Antarctica proves the shape of the Earth, you now have to prove first that the Earth is a ball. Well, the radius has been falsified. 2, you have to prove that gas violates natural law, that it can exist in a vacuum, right? So the sun is made out of hydrogen and helium that defy gravity on Earth. Gas violently fills the available space in a vacuum, but in space, the biggest vacuum of all, there's so much helium and hydrogen that it collapses and turns into a gravitational ball that burns 640 billion tons an hour or something for billions of years, never gets smaller. It has gravity that could hold on to Pluto, but it can't pull our moon out of our orbit. You have to believe in stuff that people at Narnia laugh at, right? So I don't believe there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but we have models, physical models that show how a 24-hour sun could work in Antarctica.
Can you show me the model of the sun that flat earthers believe?
Well, of the 24-hour sun, or just how it works on a
just
flat Earth?
how it works on the flat earth.
Yeah,
Like
so
we have days and seasons and
yeah, so can I show my iPad? Would that be all right? Because I can show it to you in action.
Okay.
Does that work? Is the glare?
it works.
It works?
It is good.
Okay. So the sun, the sun on the flat Earth is small and local. It's the hour hand of a 24-hour clock. Now you see those 2 yellow circles?
Yes.
The inner yellow circle is the Tropic of Cancer, and the outer yellow circle is the Tropic of Capricorn.
Okay.
And the sun spirals in on June 21st. It's over the Tropic of Cancer, and then it spirals out for 6 months. On December 21st, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn. In December, it's summer over Australia because the sun is close.
Mm-hmm.
And it's winter for us in the United States because the sun is far away from us.
Okay.
Right? So if you're standing next to a campfire and you're really hot, how do you get cooler? You walk away. Right. In the globe model, you get closer to the fire and then turn your body a little bit. That's the globe. Do you know that during our summer here in America, in the inner north, that we're 3.5 million miles closer to the heliocentric sun than in the winter?
It makes no sense.
So we're closer. And then they say, well, it's the tilt. We're tilted away and that light's spread over a big area. But the tilt is in relation to the sun. So the earth is tilted towards the sun or tilted away from the sun, and that causes seasons. Well, what about the spin? The spin causes a tilt also. In June, when I see the sun right over the horizon rising, I can feel the heat on my face in Connecticut. I can get a tan. It's warm.
Correct.
And it gets warmer, right? But in December at noon, when the sun is high in the sky, 3.5 million miles closer, which they say is insignificant, but it's a much more direct angle. I can look at the sun and I can't even feel the heat on my face because it's farther. Let me show you a seasons, and this one should ring home. I'll send you the image. So if you look at the top, I was in Puerto Morelos, Mexico, which is the arrow that says 90 Fahrenheit. It was actually 95, but I'll just round down 90. And in the Northeast, it was negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's 100-degree difference. And that's like over 1,000, 1,500 miles, whatever it is. It's a short distance, right? A short difference in the distance. So what causes that incredible distance? It's 0.00003% farther, the northern spot, to the sun, because the sun would be behind me closer to the equator. Now, if you look at the bottom part, right, I'm at the end of that yellow line, 90 degrees at the other end. That's where the sun is.
Yes.
Right? So I'm that close to the sun, and the Northeast is twice as far from the sun. So think of the campfire. You go farther from the campfire, it's colder.
Yeah, but there are days, let's say a week ago, there was no clouds, and it was in LA. I was in LA. It was only, let's say, 60 degrees.
Right. So we live in a dynamic system. We have cold fronts and warm fronts and everything. But overall, the sun's heat will heat up more and more and more in the summer. That's why in June 21st is when the sun is the closest. After June, the sun's moving away from us. It's going south again. It's spiraling out wider and wider, right? North is in the center of the flat Earth, right? And as it spirals outwards, it still gets warmer in July and even warmer in August sometimes. Now, well, the sun's getting farther away. Why is that? And the answer is because we live in a thermodynamic system. So in June, the sun goes around and heats us up, let's just say 10 units, just for a number, 10. At nighttime, the Earth cools any time of year. We'll just call it 6 units. So we lose 6 a night, gain 10 during the day, right? So it's warmer. So then in July, that number 10 during the day, let's say that drops down to 8.
Okay.
Right? So we're gaining 8, losing 6. It's still getting warmer. The cumulative is still getting warmer in June. Then in August, let's say it goes down to 9. So, no, it's 7. I'm sorry. I'm 7, yeah. And then we lose 6 at night. So it's still getting a little bit warmer. Then in September, we only get like 6 or 5 during the day, and we lose 6 at night. Now it's getting colder. October, we get 3, lose 6. So it's getting colder.
Okay, if the sun is closest to the North Pole in summer, our summer, North summer, right?
Yes.
Why it's super cold at the North Pole then? If the sun is so close.
Because it's not super cold. Alaska gets quite warm in the summer.
But Alaska is not, I want to say, let's just,
Alaska
this dot.
Yeah. So again.
Alaska is right here.
There's at 80 degrees north, there's animals, there's trees, there's grass, there's bison, there's all sorts of animals that live and people at 80 degrees north. 80 degrees south, you can't find a piece of a plant to make a toothpick. There's no animals. There's nothing.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason for that is because the sun never gets out there. The sun, when it gets all the way to the Tropic of Cancer, if you look at places like Norway and northern Alaska, the sun never gets far enough away from them to set. The sun sets due to perspective over distance. So it goes all the way around. So even when the sun is all the way over in Africa on that yellow line, it's still close enough to Alaska to be seen above or in front of the horizon.
Okay. Why there are then almost 24/7 suns for a few days, let's say in Norway, Finland,
Yeah,
St.
not a few
Petersburg?
days. I think it's a few months.
Months?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because the sun, when the sun is going around the Tropic of Cancer, those places near the middle will get 24 hours of sun for months, months at a time, because it's close. And as it starts going away, you'll get rising and slowing, because when it's over on the California side of the United States, that'll be daytime, noon, whatever. And then when it's on the far side, it'll be low, but it still won't set. So you'll just see it go around. The 24-hour sun works perfectly on a flat Earth and on a globe. There's no difference. It's in the south. What is the question in the south? Now, again, looking up at the sky and making observations is not science. The only thing that we can say about the sky is that anything that we see in the sky is that they're lights. It's the only thing that you can say with absolute certainty, right? We can't say how big it is, what it is, how far it is, when it got there, what it weighs. We can't say anything other than they're lights in the sky. We're not a light. We don't live in the sky. That's God's world, right? The sky is the heavens above. I don't believe that the sun and the moon that we see are physical. I believe there is a physical sun and moon, but I think it's more of a projection into what I call our sky screen.
Yeah, but it gets our heat.
Oh, it gets heat. Absolutely. Like if you take a magnifying glass and burn ants, I know you did it as a kid, don't deny it, right? If you lift it up a couple inches, that point of light is still there, but it's not on the ground. It's in the air. Blow some smoke or spray some mist, and you'll see that it'll look just like a sun. And it has heat. So I believe, this is just my speculation, and again, we don't need to speculate what's in the sky to prove the shape of the earth, but I believe that the sun is within the firmament. When you say, well, within, aren't we in the firmament? No, we're under the firmament. When you put your milk in the refrigerator, do you put it in the refrigerator or under the refrigerator?
In?
God says that the sun and the moon are in the firmament. So I think they're above the dome that is enclosing us, that's holding our air in here, that's making us able to breathe. And I think that it is projecting or lensing through, and then we see it in a position that's relative to each viewer. So we all see, like if you and I were at the beach watching the sunset, you know how you see the sun walk across the water to your feet? If we were 10 feet apart or 10 yards or 1,000 yards apart, we're both going to see the sun walking on the water to our feet. And we're going to see the sun in different positions.
Mm-hmm.
So we both have a personal relationship with the sun that walks on water. That's a whole nother thing. All right.
Okay.
So we don't see the same sun. So people say, well, triangulate the sun. You can't, because if we wanted to triangulate the center of your TV screen, we could do it. We could measure between us. We could measure to that. But if we both saw that dot in different positions, we couldn't do it. I do an experiment. I took my room and I hung a blue bed sheet dividing the room in two. And on one side of the room, I put a bright light, and I'm standing on the other side looking at the sheet. I can't see the light, but I can see the light through the sheet. Mm-hmm. Right? So if that light was back behind my head, right? And here's the sheet, you're going to see that light right here on the sheet. Right here's the sheet, the light's right there. If I was standing over there, I'm going to see that light on the sheet over here. We're both seeing the same light, but in two actual different positions. I have a video that you can demonstrate how this works. And it proves that that could work. I'm not saying that is how it works, but it sure seems to be the way that we see the sun and the moon.
Okay, so the sun gets us light and heat. What about the moon? What's the moon up to you?
So the moon, they tell us the official story is the moon is a dusty, dirty rock floating in the sky, reflecting sunlight. Mm-hmm. You ever go out on a full moon night on a clear place where there's no other lights? You can read a book by the moonlight.
Just like yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And it wasn't even a full moon. Right. It'll cast your shadow on the ground.
Right.
So this dusty, dirty rock is reflecting sunlight a quarter of a million miles, and you could read by it. I want you to go outside and go at like some park where they have a big cement ball, a big concrete ball. You could argue that that shiny ball is even more reflective than the moon would be, a dusty, dirty moon. And look at it. Is that light casting light on you? Right? Is it casting your shadow on the wall behind you? But you're right next to it. It should be even brighter than we see the moon.
It absorbs the light.
It lights up. Like, you don't see me now. You see the light that's reflecting off of me. But the light that's reflecting off of me isn't bright enough to cast your shadow on the wall behind you. Right? So if there's no light on something, you can't see it. Right? So, but the moon is clearly a light in the sky. And you can actually measure moonlight, that it is cold. The moonlight is cold. Let me, and I'll just show you how the moon, if you go out when there's some spotted clouds in the sky, when there's spotted clouds in the sky, you can see that the moonlight is lighting up just the clouds that are near it, but the other ones are not lit. Right? If you had a light on the ceiling, it would light up the whole table. But if I held the light right close to the table, it would only light up a little portion. Right. So we had cotton balls all over the table. The light close would light up the ones right near it, but the light on the ceiling would light them all up. A quarter of a million miles away, is that close? Not really. It should light up all the clouds, but it doesn't. It acts just like a local light. Doesn't that light, that street light, look almost like that's the moon?
Yeah, how can a rock
dusty,
reflect this amount?
Dirty rock, right?
It's like a mirror almost.
Right. So here's another one. So here is just my example I gave you. So it's noon. We're looking at that rock. How come it's not looking like the moon? And in reality, the inverse square law of light, which means the closer you are to an object, the brighter it is exponentially. Every time you half the distance to light, it's 4 times brighter. So if everyone halfway to the moon, it would be 4 times brighter. Halfway again, it would be 16 times brighter. Halfway again, it would be 64 times brighter. That's called the inverse square law, right? Because light spreads out exponentially.
Like this lamp, right?
Well, all lights. So think about it.
If I come closer,
it'll blind you. You go put your eyes up to it, it'll blind you. But over here, I could stare right at it.
So Aramis 2, when they flew right next to the moon, it would be super bright.
It should be. Should be. We did the math. When you're 100 miles from the moon should appear brighter than we see the sun from Earth.
Impossible to watch it.
It would be impossible. It'd be absolutely ridiculous. So the inverse square law requires the moon to be brighter than we see the sun. It's so dumb, Apollo. Here's the thing. Most people hated school because deep down inside, they know they're being taught nonsense.
Yes, yeah.
Their soul knows. And so they just want to get through school. And school goes on for so long. And then you finally get out. You're like, I'm out. And then it wasn't until just a few years ago that I stopped having dreams that I'm missing my final exam. I couldn't find my class, right? That's how traumatizing it was. And I'm not that young, right? I don't identify with chronological age. So it was a while ago. I'll tell you that. So when you tell somebody about flat Earth, they're like, I'm not learning everything over again. They don't want to do it. And if they admit that the Earth could be flat, then they have to admit that they've been duped and they're not in control, right? Because if you've been duped, you're not the one in control. Now, the good news is, admit it, suck it up. We were all wrong, and then take the control back.
Okay, so what do you think the moon is really?
I think it's a plasma. There's a scientist that was recorded on a news show in 1960, early in the 60s, and he was saying that the moon is a plasma and that nobody could land on it. And the reporter's like, well, Neil Armstrong's going to be going to the moon. He's like, that will never happen. He goes, this is going to change science completely. And, once they admit this, everything's going to change. And he was just buried. That report, never went anywhere. And, I think the moon is a non-physical thing. The moon affects women's menstrual cycles. Can you find me another rock that affects menstrual cycles?
Is it true?
Yeah, well, the women sync up to the moon, and then during a full moon, people go a little crazy sometimes. That's where the term lunatic came from. Luna,
Okay. Lunatic?
lunatic.
The short answer is no, not in a proven way. The folklore historical belief. The idea is very old and intuitive. The lunar cycle, almost 30 days, is remarkably close to the average menstrual cycle. What the science actually shows, the average menstrual cycle length is at 28 days, but normal cycles range from 21 to 35 days, and they are vary significantly from person to person.
So normal cycles, 21 to 30, that doesn't sound very normal. It's 28 days, and so is the moon. And women have been known to completely sync up with the moon. And women, when they get together, their cycles sometimes sync. But, a lot of ancient cultures believe that the moon delivers and removes souls from the earth plane. I don't have any proof of that, but it resonates true with me.
What do you think the moon is for?
I think the moon, God put the two lights in the sky, the moon to rule the night and the sun to rule the day. And I think it has to do, I used to laugh at astrology. Anyone's an astrologer, I'm like, you're so stupid. Retrograde Mars.
I do right now.
You laugh at them.
Yeah.
You laugh at astrology.
Yeah, because I don't know what is the source that they got their information from. Let's say I am a Christian because I read the Bible, okay, but they can't tell me the source. What's the book?
So that's good, and the answer's out there, and I'm not the pro on this, but I loved astronomy. I was really good at it. I watched Carl Sagan and his Cosmos series, and while I was in college, it helped me with my class. I aced my astronomy courses, and it's all pseudoscience. I said, Mars is in retrograde, therefore you're going to have a bad day, or whatever they say. I'm like, Mars can't even affect our tides, because I believe that the moon's gravity affected our tides. Mm-hmm. So how is it going to affect us? But in reality, provably so, all of the lights in the sky that we call the luminaries that we call planets, they're small, they're local, they're here within our system. They do affect our lives. All astrologers talk about the motion of all of the luminaries, the sun, the moon, and the planets. What about the motion of the Earth? How come they don't talk about that? You know why? Because it's not moving. But in their world, in the globular world, it is. I recommend you look up Santos Bonacci. To do some research. Watch some of his videos on Vedic astrology, or he's done some incredible work, and it takes some time to get it in. He's amazing.
This is the guy?
Yep, that's him. Good friend of mine. And he talks about the heavens above, and a lot of it all syncs up with the Bible and everything else. So I'm not the most knowledgeable on it, but I know that astrology is the real science, and the motion, the movement, the placement of these things when you're born, where you are, and stuff does affect your life. I don't know how, but I've seen it. It does.
But he knows.
He's really good at it. Yeah.
Okay. What about the lunar eclipse? How is it possible?
Yeah. So the lunar eclipse, what you'll hear is the mainstream people like Neil deGrasse Tyson say the lunar eclipse. What's that?
He's a disgrace.
He'll say that the lunar eclipse proves the shape of the Earth, because the Earth is casting a shadow on the moon, and if the Earth was flat, you'd have an eclipse like this. That's called a straw man. All right. He said only a sphere can cast a shadow as a circle on another sphere. That is a false statement, right? That is a false statement. So on the top here is not to scale. You got the guy, wherever you are, you're on the top of the Earth, right?
Correct.
You're on the top of the Earth, and their land will go down and away from you in all directions. Correct. On a big scale, so it might look flat to you, yeah. Right? Well, the sun and the moon are above his horizon. The guy watching sees the sun over there and the moon's over there, both above the horizon. Could the eclipse start? The Earth isn't in between yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the eclipse does start. And sometimes it comes in from the top. How could it come in from the top if it's the Earth coming in between from the bottom? So it's called the selenilian eclipse. And the scientists, probably because they can't pronounce selenilian, say they call it the impossible eclipse because it's geometrically impossible.
It's the picture right here.
Yeah. It's geometrically possible. So yeah, so that's what they saw. And you could see the moon on the other horizon, above the horizon, so the Earth isn't in between. So what is causing the eclipse? First thing is falsification. Falsification is independent of replacement, right? You and I are here in Vegas. My wife told me that somebody stole the last cookie out of the cookie jar this morning, and she says she thinks it was you. Okay? Can we falsify that?
Of course.
Okay. Well, until you tell me who stole the cookie, I'm going to blame you. That's how the globe model works. They're like, well, you just disprove it. Well, what proves it? If you can't tell me what proves it, then I'm not going to listen. No. Falsification.
Proven innocent.
Falsification is independent of replacement. If you falsify something, you don't have to explain what actually happened. It'd be nice to. I agree. But I can only speculate what causes the eclipse. Let's talk about solar eclipses. I got a short video that we can play and talk over. Is that good?
Of course.
We can do that?
Yes.
So on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. It has everything answered for you. I'm going to look at I'm looking at the frequently asked questions page. I'm going to go to eclipses, and I'm going to send you a video that I made that is quite interesting. I'll try to find the short one. Where's the short version? Short version. Here we go. And let me just send this to you. Share. I remember how I talked how the sun is above the firmament.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a projection of the sun, right? So during a solar eclipse, nobody has ever seen the moon approaching the sun, right? The moon's supposed to go, if this is the sun, the moon's supposed to go in front of the sun, right? That's an eclipse. Here's the moon, here's the sun. The moon goes in front of the sun and eclipses the sun. But no one's ever seen it coming, eclipsing, or exiting. They only see a missing chunk of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So a missing chunk of the sun. I say the reason we don't see the moon is because it's behind the sun that we see. So you can turn the sound down on it, and I'll just play the video, and I'll tell you what we're seeing here. Make that big.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is on the left. I have a eclipse that I made. I'm beaming onto a paper towel, a light from the other side, and I'm eclipsing it with a Snapple bottle cap. You don't see the Snapple bottle cap because it's behind the sun that we see. Behind the sky, the paper towel is the sky. On the right is an actual eclipse that I filmed. There was a lot of chem haze in the sky, if you know what I'm talking about. And it made it easy to film where it wasn't blowing out my lens. With me? They kind of look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look. It's gonna go. Now, you don't see the moon. You see missing sun on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
You see missing sun. You think that's the moon. It could be, but you don't see it. You see missing sun. So we're going to just go a little farther forward. You can let it keep playing. And this is an eclipse that we filmed, and it was about 85, 90, maybe 90% eclipse. Now the sun is blowing out the lens, but you see that little eclipse right there? The one on the bottom is a lens flare, and the one on the top, that's how much the sun is eclipsed, but you can't see it on the big one because it's just too bright. If I put a filter over it, you'd be able to see it. So let it go. And you'll see that the one's moving around. That's clearly a lens flare, but the other one is locked in position to the sun.
That one.
So what is it? My theory is that's the actual sun eclipse, and that's in the firmament, and it's projecting its light into the sky screen. And the reason we can see through the sky screen, pause a second, is because there's less light in the sky. When we look up in the sky right now, what do we see? Blue sky, sunny day, because the sun is fluorescing all the gases, and it makes it opaque. But at nighttime, we can see right through up to the stars, wherever they are, right? So there's less light in the sky. So the sun, the 90% of the sunlight is missing. That's why we can see through the sky and we can see it. Hit play. So what is that? That's locked to the sun. And I say that is the projector. You ever watch a movie projected on a sheet? The movies, the things behind, you can look through the sheet and see the projector. You can see the bright spot that's projecting onto it. That's exactly what's going on here. So we'll just jump forward. We'll just keep going. And so I'm going to show you an example of what it is that I saw. There you go. So there's my paper towel eclipse. I'm going to show you a side view so you can see exactly how I'm doing this, right? So here's the side view. There's my projector and there's my eclipse. So you don't see the bottle cap because there's no light on the bottle cap being projected into the sky screen, the paper towel. Then I said, wait a minute. What if the sky is a little more transparent? So I took instead of using a paper towel, I used a tissue paper, thinner than a paper towel. So it's less opaque because there's less light in the sky. And watch what happens when I do this. Give it a second. There you go. So there it is on the right. You see that's the projector behind the paper towel, but not behind it. And you can't see. And there's the eclipse that we see. And when we compare that to the actual eclipse, they both look the same. We're seeing the same thing. That's my theory. Prove me wrong. Makes sense.
Yeah, but the actual scientists would say, why would I argue and why would I prove this lunatic wrong? Who is he?
Well, that's what they say. That's called an appeal to authority, right? Right. The scientist. I'm a scientist by definition. I study and I experiment. I use the scientific method. All of astronomy doesn't use the scientific method. None of it does. They just look at observations, make conclusions, and tell you it's a fact. They use nothing scientific. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. 1 globe proof. And nobody can collect those Bitcoins because there are no globe proofs.
Okay, but how does the lunar eclipse work on a flat Earth model then?
There's something either eclipsing the moon, it could be another dark body, or maybe it's not a shadow at all. Maybe the moon is just powering down. A full moon is a light, so it's getting its energy from somewhere. A new moon is no light, so it's off. During a full moon, we have higher high tides. But during a full moon, if the Earth is here, the moon is here, the sun is over here. That's a full moon. Well, so when during a new moon, the sun would come all the way over here. So you got the sun and the moon pulling on the tides, but it's not pulling as hard. Doesn't make any sense.
What about solar eclipse?
This is the solar eclipse right here. I just showed you. The solar eclipse is a body. I think it's the moon. It could be another body. It could be a node of some sort blocking the projector so we see the eclipse. No one has ever from anywhere from the International Fake Station, telescopes, infrared, ever seen the moon eclipse the sun. Now people say, the Globers will say, oh, the sun's so bright you can't see the moon right next to it. Cool story. But what about when the moon completely eclipses the sun? Well, there's no more light blinding you. The Earth shine, like moonshine, should light up the moon. It's 6 times bigger, so it should be 6 times brighter at least than the moonshine. And we don't see the moon. No one has ever seen the moon in front of the sun.
Yeah, but maybe the Earth does not reflect that amount of light because of the atmosphere.
Well, if the Earth doesn't reflect that amount of light, then the moon can't either.
The moon does not have any atmosphere.
So the atmosphere, which is lit up, the atmosphere is actually light. The atmosphere is a light. Before the sun rises, you can go on the west side of your house and read a book from the daylight, because the light of the fluorescing of the sky, it's like photography. You have your main spotlight, that would be the sun, and then you have your backlights that give you everything. If you only film with one spotlight, it would be like the Blair Witch Project. Well, we have daylight, which is different than sunlight. So before the sun appears, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before sunrise, it's daylight, even on the west side of your house. The house is blocking the sun. The Earth is blocking the sun, but I can still read a book. The atmosphere is light. The Earth is light. The sky is a light.
Okay, what about then? What about time zones then? How do they exist on a flat Earth model?
Yeah. The better question is, how the hell did time zones exist on the globe model?
Because the Earth is spinning.
Nope, because the sun is spinning, right? When you go to the beach, and you stay there all day, do you see the sun move across the sky?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the sun moves across the sky.
Well, scientists tell us
Scientists, that's a
Yeah.
word.
that
That's a word.
the Earth is spinning.
That's
the
a
sun
word.
is not moving.
But we see the sun move across the sky, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
With my own eyes.
Do you feel like you're moving?
No, I don't.
Right.
But the Earth is such a big object. That's why I don't feel the movement.
Do you feel an earthquake?
I do.
How do you know that the earthquake is happening?
I can feel it.
Okay, but we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're traveling sideways at 500,000 miles per hour, and that entire system's moving millions of miles an hour in a fourth direction, but you don't feel it
For billions of years.
for billions of years. But nothing
Nonstop.
ever in the sky ever changes. I sent you some. I sent you images. So the time zone is the sky is a perfect clock, right? The sky clock is more accurate than the most accurate Swiss watch. And that's because time is dictated by. No, you're going to your text messages.
Oh, yeah.
Time is dictated by where the sun is in the sky. So the sun will be at noon over the East Coast. The sun will be directly at its highest
its
point for the
highest,
day.
yes.
And then as it moves away, it's getting lower and lower. 3 hours later, it'll be noon in California. And the sun will be over here. Go to the next one. Right? So I got these domes on the ground here, and I'm moving a light, the sun, across the sky. So right now where the sun is, think of each one of those humps as a time zone or part of a time zone.
Okay.
Right? So all the way on the right, we'll call that the East Coast. It's nighttime there. It's 4 p.m. in the second one. It's 2 o'clock in the next one, because that intersection, that projection of the light, it's noon in the one that's right under the sun, 10 a.m., 8 a.m., 6 a.m. There's your time zones. Go to the next picture. How many time zones are there? On a globe, there should be 24 lines from the North Pole to the South Pole, equal, like sections of an orange, right?
Correct.
Right? There's 19 time zones in the north, 24 between the tropics, and 32 in the south, officially. How does that work on a globe?
Is that true?
True.
How many time zones there are
In the south.
world? South and north. Short answer. "24 official time zones worldwide, but in practice, due to fractional offsets like 5:30, 9:45 for parts of Australia, the actual count reaches around 34 to 40
38 to 40.
distinct offsets.
Yeah. So it's all obfuscation. It's nonsense, right? The time zones actually prove the earth is flat. The sun circles around, just like I showed you on my app. It goes around, and wherever the sun is, it's noon. So on my app, right now, if I took this and the sun is over West Africa. Do you know anybody there? We can call them right now. Somebody that's underneath where that's showing the sun is, and say, what time is it, and where is the sun? And their answer will be, it's noon, and it's directly above me.
Correct.
That's what they're going to say. And if I call my friend PK in Australia, I'd say, what time is it? He'll go, what the hell are you calling me for? It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And he'll yell at me. But if I wait until later, when the sun goes over there, right? When it's right over him, I can call him, and I've done this. He says it's noon and it's directly over me.
Yeah, but it works in the globe model too. Because it spins.
Yeah.
If the sun is over here, we're spinning.
Yeah.
West Africa, spinning.
Here's the problem.
Americas, then Australia.
Let me ask you a question. So the sun is a distant
93 miles,
93 million
miles away.
Right. So the sun is distant, and we're a ball, right?
Correct.
So you have a single source light and a ball. You can do this. So you get a light, a big bright light, and a basketball in a dark room. What percentage of the basketball can that single source light up? How much can it open? Can it light up?
How much? Like 50%?
50%. Exactly.
The lower
Exactly.
part is not
There might be a
lit.
little fuzzy part
Yeah.
in the middle, but it half light, half dark with a little fuzzy couple percent in the middle, right?
Correct.
This is directly from the Weather Channel. This is they say that 99% of the Earth's population is in daylight at the same time. Wait a minute. Well, that's not really a fair statement because the areas that aren't lit up, there's very few people. But it's over 70% of the Earth is lit. That can't happen on a single source light. It can't happen at all. Right? So let me send you this short video, and this will bring it home for you, Paulo. So pull up this. It's not a YouTube video. It's actual video file.
Times when the Earth is lit up by the sun.
More than 50%.
More than 50%.
I wonder what it's going to answer. So that's the answer because it's using logic. It's like if the Earth is a ball, the sun is a single source light.
Okay, let's ask, let's say Google, right? Yes, technically slightly more than 50%.
It's 72%, right?
Let's say 70%. What does it say? No, at any given moment, the sun only illuminates slightly more than 50%.
So it's actually wrong. Let's take a look at the video I just sent you. Again, we have to not, AI is useful to a point, but they're going to lie. So here's the flat Earth map. And we're going to show you the areas of the Earth that are lit on that time. So the sun was right there at the beginning of it. There, it showed can you go back, slide back to the beginning of the video before. Slide back to the beginning. All right. So this is from time and date. And you can see California, it's just dawn. They're in daylight. It's just early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And everything else is lit. The only thing that's not lit is Australia and those islands around Australia. Mm-hmm. Everything else is lit. Right. So now let's go forward. And so that's where the sun was. And we're going to lift it up. Go ahead. And look what it lights up. The same land is lit up except Australia and those other islands. So it matches. Correct. That matches.
Correct.
That matches. And this isn't exactly right because the sun's light does stretch out because of temperature, because of the dome, but this is close enough. So now we do to scale. We have a single source light. We have the Earth at its tilt. And if we look on the bottom there, here's Australia. We're going to move in the pink. We're going to move Australia right into the dark. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go to the other side.
To see how much is lit.
We're going to see what's lit over here. And what we see over here is all of South America is in the dark. All of America is in the dark.
Correct.
Right? So that doesn't match.
This is correct. 50%.
This is 50%.
Right.
Yeah, this is 50%. So keep going. So we're gonna line up California, making it just dawn. So we'll spin this out just a little bit. So South America's in the light, dawn at California.
Correct.
And then we go to the other side and we have a big problem because all of Russia's in the dark, all of the Middle East is in the dark. It does not match physical observations. Grok is lying or using mainstream information, and it doesn't match, but it matches on a flat Earth.
Okay, but where do you get this picture?
This is from Time and Date. These are actual readings. Timeanddate.com.
Okay, let's do a screenshot.
Yeah.
Let's do copy. Let's go to Claude. Enter. What about this then? I wonder what it's going to tell us.
That's cool.
Good cat, but it's this actually confirms the 50% rule. This is not 50%.
Right.
This is not 50%.
Right. It's just lying to you. And when we look at the globe model, which is inaccurate, it doesn't work. The layout doesn't work. The globe is the lie, but they want you to believe flat Earth is the lie.
Yeah, it says 90% of all the population, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. What if everyone lived in Africa? They could say 100% of the population. I don't care about the population. Yeah. It's about the percentage of the ball. Yeah, 70+% is lit at this time, according to what they show us. according to a flat Earth map. Now, people say, well, how the shape of the light on the flat Earth changes. It's more of a circle in June, and it's more of a parabolic curve in the winter. And that's because as that light gets closer to the dome, the light wraps around a little bit. And did you know, I learned this recently, that light doesn't travel as far through cold temperature. Colder air, the light will stop shorter. It won't go as far. We're told that light travels for billions of years. The stars that we're looking at burned out 30 billion years ago, but we're still seeing them. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So the tropics in between Cancer and Capricorn, the light will actually kidney beam out a little bit because it's warmer there. And then you go bring that out towards the outer part, the dome will wrap it around a little bit. The light in the dome will wrap it around. It's called the coffee cup caustic. As you bring a light to the edge, that it'll wrap around. So we get this big smiley face light shape, but then as the light pulls away, goes back to Cancer, it wraps back in and it turns into more of an oval again because we have the light going farther through the tropics and it's more of a circular light, kind of like a kidney bean.
Have you ever been to Europe?
Yeah.
Have you had a feeling that in Europe the sun is lower than over here in North America? It feels like everything is higher. The sky, the ceiling is higher than in Europe.
I haven't had that feeling. I don't know where in Europe you were, but it's kind of like the same latitude. So I would think, and I haven't experienced it, that the sun is the same. It's pretty much the same because it's circling around at kind of like the same latitude. Like England is almost the same as America. But it goes around. If you went there at a different time of year, like if you went there in December, the sun would be much lower, right?
Because it's farther.
Because it's farther away, it would appear lower. So, when I was in Australia, before I was a flat earther, the sun was so weird. It was just it felt so close. But I don't know. I think the sun spirals in and gets higher in the north and then spirals out and gets lower in the south.
Would you say that in winter here in North America, the sun is not as, in winter is more bright than in summer?
Winter is brighter than the summer in the north? What do you mean?
Let's say in winter, I can't even look directly on the sun, even if it's only just, let's say, not even noon, let's say 10 a.m.
Is the sun
so bright?
Now, I haven't experienced that, but my initial guess would be that because in the winter the air is drier, there's less humidity in the air, less water in the air, so the sun would be brighter because it's not being attenuated into the atmos. Right? In the summer, the light doesn't travel forever. Like if you're in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, you can't see the wall at the other end, even though the water is crystal clear. Right? Because the light attenuates through the thickness of the medium. Well, it's the same with the air, just farther. And so the light attenuates. I have, let me show you my sun fade out. So I filmed this several times. And when I did, the Globe cult absolutely freaked out. And they're like, you Photoshopped this. And I ended up filming it numerous times. So let me just send you one video. Sun setting is very interesting, but this was during the winter. And it was very clear, dry, and I set my drone up really high, and I'm watching the sun, and it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. Now, the sun was going down, 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 and then it stopped. If we were spinning, it would always keep moving.
Nonstop.
It would just
gradually.
right? But it went down, 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 and then it just sat there. Let it play. You can just let it play. So it just sat there. So I'm zooming in here, and it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. Now, this is a super clear day. The sun is far away. My friends were actually walking around the beach. They saw the sun set 10 minutes earlier from the bottom up. I'm still looking at it, right? And so it's just sitting there. It's not going down. It's actually going farther away. And that means it's getting more. It's going like 1,000 miles an hour. It's getting farther away. You'll see that it's shrinking a little bit. Its light is getting a little bit dimmer. Again, the big point is it's not going down. This eliminates the spin. But watch what happens as it gets a little farther away. All of a sudden, it just disappears. It doesn't go to a dot. It disappears because its light almost can't push through anymore. And then it just fades away. Boom. It's gone.
You filmed this?
7 times.
Yeah, but it literally disappeared.
Because it's too thick. It's like in a swimming pool. If I'm looking at you and you're swimming away, you're going to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to disappear. The sun does the same thing. Now, that horizon that you see right below the sun, that's just an atmospheric deck of opacity. The sun's still high in the sky, but everything appears to go to eye level, right? The sky ramps down, the ground ramps up, the walls ramp in, and the back ramps forward. That's how our perspective works. Next time you go to the water's edge, right? So at the water's edge where I am, New York City is about 25 miles away. I could see the whole skyline. There's an island just under a mile out from me. And so I'm standing at the water's edge. I'll take a picture. And then I'll look at the picture. And so if this is the whole picture, here's New York City's here. I'm standing here. From here to here is the island. So all of this is 1 mile. And then from here to New York City is 24 more miles, all compressed. You lose perspective. People don't understand that it's back to front perspective. And then when that happens, you lose information. You lose information. On my app, on the More Resources page, there's a sun fade out section. There's a whole bunch of videos in there showing you, and then you can go do this yourself. I've watched 1 million sunsets, Apollo, and I've never seen that. Did you ever put a drone up when it's friggin' freezing and you're freezing your fingers off? You have to warm the batteries and watch it after it disappears from you on the ground? No, you haven't done that. Nobody does that except Crazy Dave at first. Now a whole bunch of people have done it. I just sent you another video. So the people say how does the sun go below the ocean? It doesn't. Right? Just like this, there's a sunset. We're going to watch them, but you can play it. It'll repeat, hopefully. That coin is setting just like the sun. Why? Well, we'll be intellectually honest.
Surface.
It's a flat surface. It's level. Well, the camera's slightly below that flat surface. So it makes perfect sense, right? If I was higher, I'd be able to see the coin. Right? So the horizon for celestial objects is the entire atmosphere. So let's say the atmosphere has density up to, let's say 40,000 feet, right? Clouds, density, over just 30 miles. All of that compresses into a line that appears to be at your eye level, right? Cumulus cloud day, you get that cloud deck. It looks really flat, right? And so you look up at the cloud above you. Let's say it's 20,000 feet above you, a nice cumulus cloud. And we got a string from your eyes to that cloud. It goes straight up, right? Now, 25 miles away, the clouds look like they're touching the water, just due to perspective. So if we drew a line, you're looking out over the water, we got a string from your eyes to that cloud. That string to you will be flat across the water, 6 feet across the water if you're 6 feet tall, all right? That's how you'll see that line, correct? That's how you experience reality. I'm standing underneath that cloud in New York City, and I can see the string. What do I see? I see a string at 20,000 feet up, sloping down to my friend Apollo, 25 miles away. I see a sloping down line. You see a level line. Which one is reality?
Both.
Okay, absolutely. It's the viewer, right? We're the viewer.
Yes.
So both are reality. So that line, that slope to the clouds that I see, that's your horizon. It's up there, but you experience it down here. So if this is we'll make this the sun, right? So here's your view, and as the sun goes away, it disappears from the bottom up behind that cloud, right? That disappeared bottom up for you, right? But in reality, you experience it like this. That's how you experience it. Here's the thing. It's easier to understand that the sun goes below a spinning ball. A 5-year-old, a 4-year-old can understand that. Can I explain this to a 5-year-old? Not easily. Not easily. Some little kids will get it. And it's our angle of perspective. I have an observation. So I had spent a lot of time on the water. And where I am, I come out of my harbor, and the land's up, 20, 30 feet high. And then there's very tall trees, 150-foot trees. So like the tree line is, let's just say 150, 200 feet above my head, right? 10 miles in the distance is a small city, and there's one big, very extremely shaped building. I can't see it because those trees, I'm right next to the trees. I can't see it, right? I can't see it. But if I go farther away, the tree line gets lower and lower and lower, and all of a sudden I can see that building, right? So that ramp, I have the farther away I go, the lower that ramp gets to me, right? So when I'm 26 miles away, that tree line, the top of the trees look like it's at my eye level. That's how I experience it. So if I drew a line, let's say on a yardstick, whatever, from my eyes across the tree, I see it as level, and it's going to intersect the building right there. So I can see all of this. So on a ball, as you get closer to something, it should get bigger, right? It should get taller.
Correct.
Right? But that's not true. On a ball, as I get closer to the tree lines right here, let's say, right? My wrist is a tree line. As I get closer, that line does this, and I can't see the building anymore. So now when I'm closer, I only see the very top of the building. When I get really close, I can't see it at all.
Correct.
It's the opposite of what they teach us. The reality of this world, and here's the thing, anybody can do this. You don't have to be super smart. You just have to unindoctrinate yourself. You have to look at the world, experience it. You tell a kid, see the sun? You see the moon? The sun's 400 times bigger than the moon. The kid wants to tell you to go piss off, right? But that's what you tell him, right? Is your son still here?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay. Does he believe in Santa Claus?
Of course.
Okay.
This is the last year.
Does your wife occasionally use that as a get your pajamas on, finish your dinner, do your thing, or Santa Claus isn't coming?
Yes.
Eventually, he's going to find out Santa Claus isn't real and his parents lied to him.
This year.
What I tell people is, and by the way, I did the whole Santa Claus thing with my kids, okay? It breaks their mind. You tell them, they see the sun move across the sky. Oh, the sun's not moving, we're spinning. Really? You tell them the sun's 400 times bigger than the moon. Oh, no, it's not. It's 400 times farther. It breaks their mind. You tell them Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny's real, and then they find out their parents lied to them. This should make you cry. Don't cry, all right? It'll be sad, all right? And then what I tell people is, tell your kids about the spirit of Santa Claus. The spirit of Santa Claus. The spirit of Santa Claus is mom and dad have the spirit of Santa Claus in them and they buy you gifts and stuff. So please behave or we're not going to have the spirit of Santa Claus. That's just as fun. It's just as fun because the kids, who's the most trustworthy people in the world? The parents. After that comes the teachers who aren't purposely lying to them. They're indoctrinated, teaching them garbage. So by the time a kid gets to 18 years old, senior in high school, they're the dumbest people on the planet. It's unbelievable. I teach flat Earth to about 12 high school classes every semester, and every year it's like Groundhog Day. I have to start over again because this new crop of kids. If you mention God in your presentation, you lost all of them instantly. They're all gone. If you say, if someone says, "Well, why they lie?" Like, "Well, they're hiding God." Boom, you lost every single kid in that class, 99% of the time, right? So that's one problem. Then
there's so much against it.
The school used to have the Bible in school. When I was a kid, we used to have prayer time. We used to, do everything, and they took all that out and put the Space Initiative in. The Space Initiative is anti-God, right? So the other thing is that I found out this year is if you even suggest that governments have higher influences influencing them, whether they're secret cabals, whether they're corporations, they will not even consider that as a possibility. What are they doing to those kids in school where they can't even understand that there's a possibility? There's not a possibility. It's an absolute fact, but they can't even fathom it at all. This is what the school system is doing to our kids. It's unbelievable. It's so bad. And so when you break a kid's mind like that, they can't think rationally. A kid would never come up with the conclusion that we're on a spinning ball flying through space. A kid over time, if no one ever told him anything about the Earth, would figure out we're level, we're stationary, we must be enclosed because they knows about, high pressure and low pressure and the vacuum. None of that works. But we tell them all of these lies and it breaks their minds.
Okay, so if we are on a spinning ball, here's the sun, we're spinning, right? So when there is nighttime, we have to see the sun not getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but we should see the less and less and less of the sun, right?
As the
What
sun
happens on the sunset? Do we see the sun smaller, but we see the whole round sun?
So that's a great question, and it's a question that I had. And the question, the on a flat Earth, the sun should shrink to a tiny dot, right?
Right.
That's what we thought. But there's a thing called, I don't know what happened to my.
No. The tiny dot fully round if we're on a flat Earth, because it's going away from us. It's getting smaller and smaller. But we're on a globe. It means we have to see less and less and less of the sun. It's like the parts.
Right. If on a globe, the sun should never get any smaller. We just spin and it disappears.
Gradually.
Right. So you ever watch the sunset at the beach?
Yes.
Okay. Is the sun moving away just as you experience it, or are you falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound on a ball?
The sun moves.
The sun moves. Yeah. Right. But the heliocentric model says that you have to believe that you're on a ball falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. That makes the sun look like it's going down. Mm-hmm. Does that go against every God-given sense that you have?
No.
It should.
It should.
It does. Open up the playlist, and I want you to scroll down. I think it's the third video. Nope, go back up. Third video, right there. So can we hear the sound? Will we be able to hear the sound? Yes. So it's a short video. It's a minute and a half. Let's play the whole thing through.
Here we have two lighted balls representing the sun or moon. One of them is close and large, and the other is far and small due to perspective. Now you will notice that the two balls are at eye level, and as we drag one away, it reduces in size quickly.
Makes sense.
The farther one when it gets there. This is just due to simple eye level perspective. Now we are going to raise the camera straight up, not getting any closer to the far ball, and you will see that both balls have reduced in size and look fairly close to the same size. As we move the closer ball away again, you will notice how it does not shrink much due to perspective. The phenomenon you're witnessing is called foreshortening in art, or more technically, it's an effect of angular perspective compression or diminution of apparent size. So the next time a globetard says, if the Earth was flat, the sun would shrink as it moves away.
Sorry about that.
You can ask them if they know what foreshortening or angular perspective compression is, and flat smack that smug know-it-all look right off their face.
So there you go. So something at eye level will shrink. Like my hand is huge in the camera, and then it gets smaller. Mm-hmm. But over distance, it gets less and less and less and less small. Right? When you're standing right behind a car, it's filling up the whole place. But when it goes down 20 yards away, it's really small already. And then it kind of stays small. Like you can watch an airplane go all the way across the sky and it doesn't change size, even though it's getting closer to you and then farther from you, because it's already reduced in size. It still will shrink a little bit because it is getting farther away, but the farther away it gets, the more atmosphere you're looking through, which has more water in it usually, and sometimes it magnifies it. So as it's shrinking, it's magnifying at the same time. So sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. And then there's another thing. You ever see the moon right near the horizon, moonrise? It's gigantic, right? Full moon comes up, you're like, wow, look how big it is. Mm-hmm. And then later, it's tiny. Mm-hmm. It's the same size. Go like this. Line up the moon, right? My finger will cover the moon. It's huge. And then later, you go like that. It looks tiny, but it's the same distance, the same size. It's exactly the same. It's the way our brain sees it. Try this. When you see a giant moon on the horizon, take a picture. Look at the picture. The moon's tiny, right? The picture won't give you the illusion. Mm-hmm. Turn around back to the moon, bend over and look at the moon upside down through your legs. It'll be tiny. It's how our mind works. It's amazing. It's how we interpret this world. We're just taking in data and our mind is sorting it out and making us see things in certain ways. Like do you need to worry about a car on the road that's hundreds of yards away? No. You need to worry about the one that's 20 yards away, right? So all of that has 95% of the data. Everything else is just the last 5%. Everything else is in the distance. It's only when it comes into your foreground, your personal awareness space, that all the data is there for you to interpret and to calculate. I don't need to worry about the cars way down the road. The ones that are in the driveway right near me, those are the ones I need to be about so we get more data.
Let's look at the sunset. Which one? Is there a video on your playlist so I could
Yeah,
show?
go back to the playlist. Look, there's the building to the right of the sun. That's the building that I was telling you about before. So there the sun is going beyond those trees. Now, those trees are clearly above the camera height.
Yes.
And so it goes away, it disappears, and then I launch my drone. All right? And so you can jump forward a little bit. So as we launch the drone, as soon as we go up, there's the sun again. Right? It's above. Those mountains are Pennsylvania. Right? I'm in Connecticut. Right? So it's going to keep going. So you can jump forward. And so,
okay, bingo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
it sets, right?
It's setting beyond. That's actually mountains and a little bit of atmospheric deck.
Why don't I see this part?
What part? The bottom part.
Yes, because if it goes farther away from me, it
So
has to
here
be
are those
just smaller
mountains.
and smaller.
Here's the mountains. They look like you're at your eye level, but they're not because they're farther away. Like if I was over at the door, this would look like it's at your eye level. So here is the sun,
Okay.
right? How come you don't see the bottom of the sun? I didn't get any lower. It's
You're
blocked.
not? Okay.
I'm not getting any lower,
Do that once again. Okay.
right? How come you can't see the sun anymore?
I got it.
Right? Remember the angle you see the line like this. I see the line sloping down to you from the clouds, 20,000 feet. So that line is way above the camera, but it's just going beyond. Keep playing. So, you know, if you hit the L button, it takes it 10 seconds at a time. Okay. So we're watching the sun and it's disappearing beyond this atmospheric deck. Now, if you look carefully, you can see horizon beyond. You can see stuff beyond the sun. So I know it's a little low res. Keep playing. And watch, it's going to disappear beyond, and it's going to disappear. It's literally above the horizon. It's just going away. And its light can't push through, and it's blocked by those mountains, that cloud deck. Oh, that line there is thousands of feet above your eye level. The line between the sky and what appears to be the ground. Let's go to another video. If we go back. Go down. Go to my Sunset Kitchen. That right there. FE Kitchen updated. All right, and you're gonna use the L button a whole bunch. So.
Okay.
So here's my path of the sun, and I have it above my counter. I've got different obstacles on the counter. I got my camera. That's my terrestrial camera looking. And then I have my celestial camera, which is going to be the phone that I'm using. Now, I'm showing you can jump forward a little bit, that this line is level. And I'm going to mount the phone at celestial height. So it's the same height of the sun, right? And I in the video, I'm showing that everything's the right level. So there's my sun, and I'm going to move it along this path. So it's just moving along the path, and I can see those bottles and the cardboard there. It's never going to go below that. It's above it, right? So I'm just watching it. Now the camera, the terrestrial camera is over there where I started, and it's filming the same thing. What do you think we're going to see when we compare the same footage from a terrestrial point of view? That line, is that line level? Yes, we showed you that it's level. Well, watch the line when we look at it from a terrestrial point of view. I changed nothing. Right? So, okay, you can L a couple times, so I just did it again. All right, so here's a terrestrial point of view. And look at the sun. Does it look like it's going down? And watch what happens. The cardboard is there in the distance. I'm just following the sun. This is the same footage. You can see me filming it, right? And I'm just going away, and watch what happens when it goes beyond. It's going beyond
Cardboard.
not below. Wait a minute. I'm going beyond. I'm not going below. Look at that angle. Now I'm going to zoom in on that line in a second. And then if I showed you this line first, ready? And so the sun disappears from the bottom up, even though it's not getting any lower. It's due to perspective. Keep going. Here's a real zoom in. That's the same level line. It almost looks like it's almost going straight down. But that's the path of the sun. And now I'm going to compare this to a real sunset. And watch what happens. So there it is. Now I've got 3 screens coming up. One is there. Now look at the line. Yeah, all right. So, and then this isn't the one. You can fast forward fast forward. And I'm showing you that I took the line, and I'm showing you that on terrestrial perspective, it shrinks. There's no reason, it's a straight line, but from the top, it went down. Hit L. I think at the end, I have it. Hit L. Yeah. So here we go. So on the top right is the sunset. On the bottom right is the actual path, and then on the left is just the terrestrial point of view. And hit play. Look at the sunset on the top right. It's the same exact thing. Now, if I took the terrestrial camera on the left-hand image and zoomed in, could I see the bottom half of that ball? Of course not. It's blocked.
It's blocked.
It's 100% blocked. Can I zoom in and see the bottom half of the sun on the upper right? No. Why?
Blocked.
It's blocked. You have to unlearn the nonsense that they programmed us with and learn the truth, what our God-given senses tell us. They want you to believe up is down, left is right, boy doesn't mean anything, boy and girl, right? That there's 50 other options, right? You have 2 kids, right? Boy and a girl.
I don't know. They're gonna tell me when they grow up.
Stop it. Stop it. On my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. When you, if you want to fill out a profile, it gives you 2 choices for gender.
You're such a bigot.
whatever. I do have pronouns though. Sire, Lord, and I forget what the other ones. If you check my LinkedIn profile, I do have my pronouns.
Okay. Why do they do it? What's the purpose? And how can they all come up with an agreement? Almost 200 countries in the world come up with the same stuff.
Separation of countries is fictional. It's to control the sheep. We're the sheep, right?
It's not fictional because there are lots of cultures.
There's lots of cultures, but they've literally pitted us against each other. They got the Jews hating the Palestinians from when they're little kids. They don't know why they hate them. You've got everyone fighting, everyone hating. People hate all different. Why do you hate anybody? You only hate evil, right? So,
if I'm told that, let's say, country X is a country of rapists, their country is
so
a
we were
country.
told that Muammar Gaddafi was the most horrible man in the world. He wants to kill all Americans. He cuts people's heads off that don't kiss his feet. That's what we were told. He did a speech in the 1970s or 80s at the UN, and it was angry. And the news said, this guy is horrible. Well, since then, people have used AI to translate it into English, and they actually have an American, politician doing Gaddafi's speech. If I played you that speech and you didn't know who it was, you'd be like, wow, that's a great speech. I'd vote for that guy. And basically he said, in this time, in the 2020s, they're going to use fake V's. They're going to have forced V's that everyone has to take. They're going to change people's gender. He was saying everything that's going to happen. And he's saying he's not going to put up with it. And that's why they took him out. The Gaddafi is my big point. I mean, you probably don't even know about the Great Man-Made River. He did this aquifer project that absolutely is the most incredible thing ever. Took him 40 years. He was going to feed all of Africa. Organic farms were popping up everywhere across Africa. And then they blew it up with depleted uranium. The UN, Hillary, and the Obamas blew it up with depleted uranium bombs and then killed him. It's the most horrible story ever. And nobody knows about it. Nobody knows that this guy was great. And everyone hated them. All lies. Everything you know about every other country is all complete bullshit. Are you at war with Iran? Are you at war with Palestine? No, the governments are. And now, did George Bush kill anybody during the Iraq War? No. He told other order followers to kill other order followers. If I told you to go downstairs and take out, the people at the front desk, not saying that, and you did it, that's on you. You're an order follower. You know better. And but
if I'm in the army,
then you're an order.
I have to.
Okay, so
follow the orders.
No, you don't. That's the thing. You're an order follower. Order followers are the worst scum on earth because they will do stuff against their own morals because I have to. I need my paycheck. I don't want to go to jail. Well, what do you even? Why does anybody follow orders that are not moral, not that go against everything. You would never kill anybody.
But if they tell me that these people are horrible, they're bad, they're terrorists, they're rapists,
They tell us
murderers.
everything. So do governments lie?
Of course, every
Okay.
government.
So who's telling you that they're murderers and rapists? The government say it. You can say it.
CNN, Fox, MSNBC.
And who's telling them?
They're doing journalist job.
They're not doing their jobs. They are. Stop it. Apollo. Come on. So again,
People still watch the news.
here's the thing. People are like, what are you suggesting? We take over the governments? Absolutely not. We do not need a
Stop watching the
revolution.
news.
Never watch the news. The news is steering your mind. News, an acronym for North, East, West, South. They're steering your mind. It's all propaganda. If you bet every main story on the news was fake, and you bet $100, you'd be rich. Everything on the news is fake. All of it. Every single story that you hear. Now, the wars, the atrocities are real, but the story is fake. Some of them aren't even real. But the story on how these things happen is all fake. If the whole thing's not fake, most of it's fake. But my point is that
The question is why are they
Why
doing
they-
it?
why are they lying?
Why they're lying about the globe?
because they can't control a population that, I don't want to say has faith in God, that knows there's a God. They can't control a population that's not in fear. Fear, false evidence appearing real, FEAR, right? If you're in fear, then you succumb. You say, oh, help me, daddy government, right? Help me, take care of me, NASA, make sure that asteroid doesn't hit the earth, protect us from those aliens, right? They're literally, in my opinion, they're going to try a fake alien invasion and all the wars are going to stop. They're like, hey, let's all get together and work against these aliens. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, world peace. This is great. One world government, one world religion. They've done it. Problem, reaction, solution. So the reason they do it is to control us. If I said you are not allowed to leave this hotel room ever, how would that feel with you?
Bad.
Okay.
I wouldn't be.
What if you didn't know there was anything outside of this hotel room? This is the whole world that you've ever known. Allegory of the cave, Plato's allegory of the cave, right? The people lived in a cave. They saw shadow figures and they didn't know that there was anything else out there, right? If you had a mountain lion on a 1/4 acre fenced in, he'd be walking up and down that fence and he would not be happy. Put him in 50,000 acres, he's fine. He sees the fence one day, he'd be like, a fence, big deal. He'll go back and kill something, right? And have a good day. You put a human in 900 trillion bazillion acres, what happens when he sees the fence? He wants to go to the other side. He wants to know what's out there.
You think so?
Absolutely. Everybody wants to go and see what's on the other side of the fence, right? So they put us on a ball. It's a prison for our mind. We are these incredible, powerful, infinite creators. There is infinite abundance on this earth, but they tell us the opposite. Everything they tell us, overpopulation, running out of fuel, all of that's bullshit. They're hiding free energy, right? If you didn't have to pay for gas for your car, gas or electricity for your home, and it was all free, would that change your life? Probably.
Yeah, but would I be rich? Would I become rich? No.
It doesn't matter. You
I
spend.
would save, let's say, $300-400 a month, but it would not make me rich.
No, but
Because
most
rent
people
is
spend half
$50,000.
their money. Most people that they spend half their money on energy. A lot of people do. I mean, the average income in America is like $37,000 a year.
No
right?
way.
It's under 50,000. Look it up.
That low?
Claude it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Average house income in America, 2025.
Wonder if it's going to tell you the truth.
Let's just assume that. Working on it. Median
83.
83.
What's the average?
Median is not average?
No, median is the middle. No, well,
Mississippi is 59.
All right, but
West Virginia 58.
retract my statement. I believe it's lower than that. I saw a report on it just the other day. I forget the source. So, and under 100, you rich?
No.
Okay. So if you had free energy, if we had cars that could fly, could move with electrostatics, we wouldn't even need roads.
Yeah, but if we have free energy, it means not only we don't pay for the gas, it means our groceries are way cheaper.
Everything.
Everything is cheaper.
We'd have free travel. We'd be able to go anywhere we want, right? There's so much, like they have electrostatic propulsion. The XRT-3B uses it for lift and for propulsion, and it probably pulls the energy from the ether. So it doesn't need to fuel up. It doesn't need to recharge, and it could go anywhere, and it could hover. Wouldn't you like that? Hell yeah. Right? There's so much technology that they're hiding from us because they want us believing that the only way to get around in great distances is the commercial airliners, right? Mm-hmm. But the commercial airliners, that's a whole nother scam, right? There used to be airships. You know about the airships? There used to be airships, not just blimps, airships, like cruise ships that hold thousands of people. They have ballrooms and restaurants and showers and estate rooms.
When was that?
This was 1800s and before. I could show you pictures.
Like this. Okay. So I've heard the story that one got destroyed, and that's why.
So the Hindenburg blew up. Yeah. They filled it with hydrogen. They blew it up. False flag. So that would be like American Airlines crashed one airplane. That's okay. No more airplanes for the rest of the world.
Never tried. Ever since.
Yeah. There's a channel called I Am the Improbable Dreamer. Check him out on Instagram, and he's got all sorts of stuff on airships. They have airships that would cruise all over the world, right? And they use some of them, or maybe all of them, used radium engines. Radium engines. Wait, radium. Who's using radium? They don't want us using radium because it's an endless fuel source, and its exhaust is helium. Wait a minute, that's pretty good for an airship. Mm-hmm. Keep pumping up the bladders, right? Go up, down. So if we had airships, we can go explore Antarctica. We can explore the North Pole. They don't want that. We can travel anywhere we want, right? Why do we need passports? God gave us the right to travel. And on all of these governments.
Yeah, because the U.S. is an amazing country, right? A lot of people want to come here. That's why I came here. Yeah. I think there are a lot of opportunities right here. But if you don't have passports, if you don't have borders, it's going to be flooded with, let's say, third world countries, and it's going to turn this country into a shithole that those third world countries are right now.
Well, we have passports, and they're letting them all in, for the last 10 years.
That's the problem, right? That's the problem.
So the passport isn't the answer. The answer is, why is there poverty all over the world, right? These shitheads that come in are struggling to survive, right? If you
change your country first, not flee from the country. If it's not a war-torn country.
No, I get it. But if all of this technology, all of the truth of our world, if everybody knew that we're at the center of creation, there'd be a lot less shitheads. There really would be, and people would be able to help each other, right? On my app, I've added a jobs board, right? In 2014, the Globers would say, "Oh, you stupid flat earther, no one's going to ever hire you. Good luck getting a job." That was the insult. Well, guess what? We don't want to work with them. We don't want to work for them. So I created a jobs board, and it's starting to take off. People are finding like-minded people to work. There's a couple called rawmilk.church. These guys are creating a new food system on their and they're trying to get it into every state. Right now they're in Oregon, and they're offering people to come live there, room and board taken care of, food, everything. They just work on the farm. They learn these systems, and then they can go do it in another state. And it's amazing. So we are building new systems. We don't need to take down the old system. We need to ignore it. What if this podcast goes viral, super viral? Everyone watches and goes, "That Dave is right. Let's ignore the governments." What could the governments do if everyone ignored them?
Yeah, but how can you ignore the government?
If everyone ignored them, they would have zero power. None. The only power governments have is in your imagination.
Just like money.
It's just like money.
Think it's worth.
So if you had a sandwich over there and you were full, and I had Paulo, I got $20 bill. Would you give me that sandwich?
Of course.
Okay. So you took that $20 bill. Well, that's good for what? Lighting a fire? Well, that's physically what it could be. You could use it as kindling, but you have a belief that it's worth something else. Mm-hmm. I got a sandwich. I'm going to fill my belly, right? Lucky for you, there's other people that believe in that $20 bill also. They have faith, and they'll trade you golf ball for it, whatever you're looking to buy, right? Some gas for your car, right? So it's a faith-based thing. It has no value other than your belief, and it's the same with governments. We believe that they control us, so we allow them. If you vote, I don't vote, right? I used to be ashamed, like, I better vote, otherwise I'm not an American. I don't vote because if you vote for the left or vote for the right, it's the same two arms, same monster. But if you vote, whether you win or lose, you gave your permission for somebody to rule over you. The only thing that rules over you is God. You're giving permission for them to rule over you. So you're literally giving your energy saying, I agree, whoever wins can rule over me. I don't agree.
Okay, so how should we govern then? Anarchy?
Well, anarchy isn't crazy people going nuts. People are like, well, how about cell phones? Governments didn't make cell phones. Innovation made it, right? This was made by Steve Jobs. Didn't even go to college, right? So people.
Let's assume CIA did not help.
They might have helped, right? And
in my garage, I did this.
Yeah, maybe. So there's plenty of creative people that, if we had access to the Vatican Library, if we had access to all of our history, if we knew the truth of this world, we could rebuild this world ourselves. We don't need governments. What do governments do? They spend $23 million on a fucking toilet for the Artemis, You ever see that toilet? It's so stupid. Excuse me for swearing.
Okay, so let's say from tomorrow there is no police.
There basically are no police now. There's no police in Mexico. It's so safe there.
If someone hits you, you're gonna call 911. If someone assaults you, let's assume
I'm not saying
police.
there's nothing. You can have.
Hear me out.
You can have association. You can have groups. You can have. People are self-governing. We can self-govern. I don't need someone to govern over me.
Hear me out. Let's say there's no police from tomorrow on.
Yeah.
What do you think is gonna happen?
I think a lot of shitheads are going to cause a lot of problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So what to do with those shitheads?
Well, we're in a situation right now. What if we solved the food problem, we solved the energy problem, and everybody was like, hey, I don't have to struggle to survive. There'd be a lot less shitheads.
During the BLM, was almost, let's say, for a month there was anarchy.
Yeah.
What did they do? They robbed the Louis Vuittons.
Yeah.
They destroyed the city.
I agree, but that is all programming. They literally programmed us for that. They programmed the mobs. They put the skids of bricks on the streets so people could have bricks to throw through windows. All of this is social engineering. And if you don't realize you're being socially engineered, it's because you're being socially engineered and you don't realize it.
Do you think people are equal?
Yes, all people are equal.
So it's once again, during the 2020 stimulus checks.
Yeah.
A lot of people were given out.
I didn't get one.
So people had those checks. What did they do with the checks?
A lot of people.
They went and bought sneakers.
Yeah.
So it means money will always come to the top.
Yeah. Well, it depends. There was a big hurricane in Puerto Rico, and this island, Vieques, got really wiped out. And everyone's house that got wiped out, they had these little tin shacks on their little foundation. They all got money for new houses, and they all bought new Jeeps. Right. And then rebuilt their tin house. So yeah, people make their own choices. Here's the thing, Apollo. Great news. You are responsible for your own life. Get your house in order. What are you going to do with that stimulus check? What are you going to do when they say, hey, you know what? You get all this food every week. It's only going to cost you $1, whatever. You get free electricity, whatever. What are you going to do? Are you going to become a better person or are you going to become a shithead?
I'm going to become a better person.
Right. And so am I. Although I can't be much better than I am right now.
You're so humble.
I'm the most humble person on earth.
Right.
Right. I've killed my ego completely. That's how I know I'm better than everybody else. That's a joke. Are we not allowed to tell jokes on this podcast?
If the global government does not want us to understand that we live on a flat earth.
Flying F what they want. Stop talking about the government.
Yeah, but 99% of people believe they live on the globe, right?
No,
you say that's because of God.
Less than 90%.
Okay, less than 90%. 9 out of 10 believe we live on the globe, right?
Yeah, that's changing quickly, though.
But how does globe deny God then? You can believe in God and believe you live on the globe, right?
You can, but then you have faith. Because once upon a time, there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. It expanded and the lightning struck and created DNA. It turned into an amoeba that turned into a fish. The fish grew legs and lungs, climbed out of the water, found another sexy fish, had a monkey, and that monkey had a retarded baby that became a human.
And here we are.
So that's the story that goes with the globe, right? The story for God is God created the earth and it all makes sense, and it all lines up with what we experience and see. The sun and the moon are in the sky, they're equal size, everything, right? So there's a verse in the Bible that says, I think it's, I always forget it. It's basically says, once you see my creation, you can no longer deny my existence. So your creation is the earth. Once you see it, you can't deny creation. That was me. I denied God my whole life. And then in 2014, when I found out about flat earth, I was like, oh shit, there's a creator, right? And so my job, my calling is to help people get past where I was, where you can't deny creation. And that's where I draw the line. Hey, I just proved to you that God exists and that you're at the center of creation and that you're special. Your journey is from here on. I'm not helping you.
You can't prove me God exists first, and you can me prove what is the shape of the earth, because I have to see it for myself. I have to fly.
You don't have to go up.
And to
You
see it
can't.
with my
You
own
can't get
eyes.
up high enough
But
to see it.
you will never prove me that God exists. That's why it's called faith. I have faith in God.
but if you're first day on Earth, you're walking through the jungle, nobody's here, you don't know anything, and you walk into the World Trade Towers, 110 stories tall, perfect. Do you know there's a builder?
Of course. No. Do I know if there is a builder?
Do you know that there was a builder that built that? Yes. You walk into a 110-story building, you absolutely know there's a builder. Do you know who the builder is? No. Okay. So the Earth is intelligently designed. We're in an enclosed system. It doesn't happen from a big bang. There is a designer. Maybe we're all wrong on who that designer is. Maybe we're a part of the designer. Maybe we're all one cell of the designer. I don't know any. I'm not going to say I know or don't know anything. All I know is there is an intelligent creator, and we are at the center of creation. God is proven with that.
Okay. You didn't answer the question. How come almost 200 countries agree on this huge lie?
They don't. They teach in parts of Costa Rica, they still teach flat earth there. In 2020, not 2019, in the early 1900s, they were still teaching flat earth in public school here.
Yeah, but we became smarter. Now we know better.
That's what they say.
Right.
We're not at the top of civilization. We're literally in the ending credits of idiocracy.
Okay.
Right?
Do you think you Americans, you went to the moon in 1969?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So do you think Russians...
I'm insulted that you even asked me that question.
Do you think the Soviets knew that you...
100%. They're all in.
Why didn't they come up with the evidence?
Because the division is false. Russia, Israel, America, China, they're all one control system. They're all one.
Okay, then the question is, who are they?
That's a great question. So the ones that we see, we see our local politicians, but they're run by the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the the Institute of International Affairs. There's a couple others. It's called the Round Table. These are the unelected officials that make all of the policy for all of the governments of the world. I think they're the puppets of the real leaders, right? Our world leaders go to Antarctica at the weirdest times. They disappear for several days, then they come back to the base, then they go home. I think they're getting their marching orders. Maybe they're from the fallen angels. Maybe they're from the Nephilim. I couldn't tell you because I'm not going there. But I think that there's more, that the real controllers of our world will never know who they are. And they're the ones pulling all the strings. There could be demons. There could be Satan himself. I don't know, because they're as I said earlier, they're loose farming us. And until we stop feeding into that system, no fear. Love is the opposite of fear. If we all just loved unconditionally, all of the evil goes away. Evil hates love.
Do you think they might be not human?
Yeah. I mean, not human. What does that mean? I mean, basically at this point, you've heard, like the Ike family talks about reptilians and stuff. Mm-hmm. The evidence is becoming undeniable, right? We used to laugh at that stuff. Mm-hmm. There is some weird stuff going on. Again, we're in a spiritual war. There is a lot of stuff going on here that we are unaware of. Like Chinese people could be an alien race. They look different than us. They're humanoids, right? They all of it is, it's all a big melting pot. We're here, and they're keeping us in this prison. Again, the radius of the Earth is falsified. The high pressure next to no pressure is needs a container. You can't have a space vacuum. So the question is, what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica? Now, we have whistleblowers, military whistleblowers that say that there's more land out there. There's cities of millions of people that aren't allowed to communicate with us. So there we are in the center. Antarctica would be that white ring around us. And then in the outer area, there could be another sun out there and other land out there, right? That I would call that extra territory out there. Extraterrestrials from where? The outer space. Just here, just the outer space. We're in the inner area. And if we go out south, which is away from the center, all directions, that would be extraterrestrials from the outer space versus coming from up there. They want us looking into space. How do you dilute something? If I had a glass of milk and I poured it into a bathtub, did I dilute it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If I poured it in a swimming pool, so more diluted. Mm-hmm. If I poured it into the ocean, it's pretty damn diluted, right? Mm-hmm. Right? It's pretty much gone at that point. How do you dilute God? You pour him into infinite expanding space. When the truth is, we're here in a small enclosed system. They don't want us knowing where we are, who we are. So that's one model. Go to another one.
Yeah, but so I got a problem with this picture. There are namings of these lands.
Those may or may not be true. Someone's naming them. I don't know. It could be
so I can name it.
It could be total
Chihuahua.
fiction. Well, there's a book called The Navigator Across the Ice Wall. It's very interesting. You could say it's fiction. You could say it's not. But in the 1800s, there was a politician that he sold his house. He was tired of politics, and he got a ship, went to Antarctica. He found an opening, maybe that little opening over there, and went through. And then they were lost at sea. The stars were all wrong for a month. And then they finally saw land. They saw a city. And then in the morning, they waited till the morning, and a boat came out and greeted them. They're like, hey, you're at the Iron Republic. And they're like, where the hell's that? And it's like, well, it's on the other side of the ice. And so the story is the guy lived there for 10 years. He ended up getting married, right? And then he ended up getting his ship back and coming back to Florida and told the story. He wrote it in a Florida magazine in a series of articles. You can't find a single one of those magazines anymore. And it's called The Iron Republic. I encourage people to read it. Whether it's true or not, they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1800s.
Great question. If the Earth is flat, how come on the South Pole we see one set of stars and another set of stars on the north?
You don't see anything underneath the flat Earth. You see stars rotating from east to west. They go in the same direction. People say they rotate in opposite directions in the north and the south. It's not true. It's not true at all. No matter where you are in the world, when you face north, they go counterclockwise. No matter where you are in the world, when you face south, they go clockwise.
But there is no north on flat.
Yes, there is.
It's only center.
The north is the center.
But it's not north.
Yes, it is. So at the center of the Earth, there's the Black Rock. That's an interesting name. And it's a magnetic area. So if you and I went to the North Pole, let's pretend there's a pole there. And we both have our backs to the pole. We're facing opposite directions.
North.
The North Pole underneath Polaris.
Okay.
The pole star, Polaris, right? Right? And so we're there. We're facing in opposite directions. We got our back to the north. Mm-hmm. What's the opposite of north?
South.
Right. So if we both started walking like that, we're both going south.
Correct.
If we were on the sides, south. South is every direction away from north.
Okay. If we live on a ball and it's spinning, it means if we go to the north, it means we have to spin almost like ballerinas?
Yeah. If you're in the north, you spin like a ballerina. Just like that. If you went to the equator, you're moving 1,037 miles an hour.
Uh-huh. And the same on the south.
The south that's if you're on a ball, but there is no South Pole. The question is what's going on in the sky. I personally think that the inner northern stars from the equator in are the real stars. And then they are reflected out into the dome. So you get counter-rotating stars.
The dome is like a glass?
Well, that's what the Bible says. I haven't seen it. The Bible says it's a crystal glass something.
It says vault.
The vault of heaven, but it's like a crystal, it says. It says like crystal. Go to the next picture. This is a map that was 10 centuries old, found in a Buddhist temple, and it was published in January of 1907 in a Hawaiian newspaper. Look, there's like 30 more continents outside of Antarctica.
Okay, here's the question. Excuse me for interrupting you. Do you believe in chemtrails? A short question.
I know they're
Okay,
they're
there are
spraying.
chemtrails. Right? They're spraying something.
Yeah,
So
they
the
don't
question,
want us to see stuff during the last big lunar eclipse that solar eclipse that came across America. I went to totality. The sky was blue the day we got there, and the next day they started spraying. They sprayed so hard we barely saw the eclipse, and they did that. If you look at the chemtrails in the country, the entire path of the eclipse they sprayed like never before. Why?
the question: if they quote unquote spray on us, but it means that they live here too.
Yeah.
So how come? Do they have like medicine? Do
Maybe.
they have mask? If they
Med
breathe the same
beds,
air.
maybe they're using plasma technology. I use plasma. There's all sorts of stuff. But maybe
they live right here.
maybe or right, maybe they live out there and they're not here. But maybe that spraying was just to hide what we saw, or maybe it's being used to disconnect us from the energies of the luminaries, the energies, the astrological energies, right? Maybe they're short-circuiting us. We are these electromagnetic beings. Our consciousness is I believe comes from the sun, and they're playing aluminum and barium and strontium in the sky, and they're short-circuiting us from true consciousness. What if the sun is where we get our consciousness from? Go check out Crow 777 Radio. His sun work is incredible. No one has done anything like him.
You said there is a black rock in the center of the North.
It's called the Rupus Nigra, the Black Rock.
What do you think is really in the center of the Earth?
Great question. I don't know. No one's allowed to go there.
You can go there?
Nope.
Because
Neither
it's
can
too
you.
cold, it's too harsh weather, you're going to
Give
die.
you a whole bunch
because
of
they care
excuses.
for you?
When I was a kid in elementary school, they wheeled the TV into the class and they showed us a documentary of these guys that are going with the dog sled to the North Pole, and the troubles they're going through, and the filming is just so stupid. You watch it today, you're like, this is totally set up. And then they finally get there. It's dark, it's snowing, it's 40 below zero. They had to eat half their dogs or something because they ran out of food. And then they're looking at the GPS, 3, 2, 1, we're there. They're like, yay, we did it. And then the movie ends. I'm like, how are they going to get back? They got to do what they did to get there to get back. They're all going to die, right? But it basically...
And they got all the footage back.
Yeah, right.
So I feel that...
Basically, it was a movie to make every kid never say, I want to go to North Pole. It basically, I never said it because I saw that movie. I was like, I never want to go there. There's nothing there. It's freezing cold, and I'm going to have to eat a friggin' sleigh dog if I run out of food. So that's mind control. Right, there is a system. They say it's so the Russians don't attack us and everything because coming over the north is very dangerous. So there's a system nobody can get through it. It's like if you try to go, boom, you're busted. And also the logistics of going aren't easy. Right, God built this place amazing. We try to go down, we can't because we hit an impenetrable barrier. The ocean just gets too powerful, for us to go down. You go up, it gets too cold. Not enough air. We can't get through the firmament. You try to go south, it gets too cold, right? Like this was built to keep us in our area. Some of the people that went to Antarctica, they said, and one of the guys that I would say is very spiritually connected, he said, this feels like a place that we shouldn't be here. God doesn't want us to be here because it wasn't built for us to be here. That's what he said.
This place?
No. Far south, 80 degrees, 85,
okay.
Wherever they were in Antarctica. He said it felt like we're not supposed to be here because there's no life. There's not even a bug. There's not a blade of grass. There's nothing, right? And he's like, I feel like we're not supposed to be here. Interesting. Just a feeling. Doesn't prove anything.
So I've heard an interesting theory about Australia. Since it's so down below, let's say, so...
Out over. The land out over.
Yeah.
The land out over. Not down under. Out over.
And that's why they have these very strange creatures that they don't have on any other continent. That's because those creatures might come from another land.
It's possible. It's interesting. Though I want to go back to. I'm going to send you a couple images. Go back. That purple line is just a representative of 60 degrees south. No one is allowed to independently explore beyond that. You can't even see Antarctica from that line, except maybe the tip over there off of Santiago. So they basically took that, cut it out around the edge, wrapped it around a ball, and said, "Oh, that's Antarctica." And so you don't know about the rest of the world. I'm going to send you a couple pictures. 3 should do it. And we're going to talk about flight routes because they absolutely prove that the Earth is not a spinning ball. Go to the first one. So on the left there, we want to go from New Zealand to Argentina. Now, FlightAware says the shortest route is right across the bottom of the globe there. Whoop, right across where it says 550, right from New Zealand to Argentina. That would be the shortest route.
Yeah.
But it goes all the way up across the equator to San Francisco, then to Houston, Texas, and then all the way back down. Why would they do that? Well, look at the flat Earth map. It's a perfectly straight line.
Okay, let's from New Zealand to Argentina, right?
Yep.
How would
It's going to give you...
out look like if I travel from New Zealand, Auckland to Argentina, Buenos Aires? What countries will I fly over? Short answer. Is one of the longest routes in the world. The most direct path goes almost entirely over open ocean, the South Pacific. So you fly over very few countries. It says we fly over from New Zealand to vast South Pacific Ocean, possibly French Polynesia, Chile, and Argentina.
Yeah, so that's a lie, and I'm going to prove it to you right now.
Please.
Because, where we go? So we have to watch this short video, and...
Google says the same thing,
Yep,
over
of
the
course.
South Pacific Ocean.
So go to this video, and they claim that it goes over the South Pacific, but somebody was looking at the real flight data, and they found a waypoint from, they have the flight tracking software, and it shows waypoints, and the waypoint was over Texas. So play the video. Let me show how long it is.
Okay, but it means that even pilots lie.
No, they don't know. They're bus drivers. The autopilot flies. And by the way, the northern pilots, their flights are pretty much the same as on a globe and a flat Earth. It's the southern long haul ones. All of the Qantas airline pilots that are based in the long haul flights, they all know. We've talked to them. They talk about it freely amongst themselves in their lounge, but they don't talk about it publicly because they will be grounded if they do.
What are they talking about?
They're talking about the Earth being flat.
It's okay. Spinning ball, I fly, I have to tip my nose every time.
They claim the gravity holds you. It's nonsense. You're flying nose up. You're going to literally fly off into space.
Okay, we're on a globe. I hop on a helicopter. I go, let's say, 1 mile above. And I wait there for not moving
Yeah.
for, let's say, 12 hours.
They've done it
Where will I land?
34 hours, right where you took off.
Impossible.
If
Or
the Earth
because
is
of the
spinning.
gravity, I'm
They're
spinning.
saying that the air is spinning with the Earth. It's held on by gravity. You can't have gravity. You can't have air next to a vacuum, right? We have a glass volume of gas, a tube, a valve, and another glass ball attached to that, and it's a vacuum in that ball. Open up the valve, whoosh, the air instantly goes up. Now, what if I took that top volume and made it as big as a warehouse, a vacuum as big as a warehouse? Turn that valve, all of that gas is going to be gone instantly. Why didn't gravity hold it down? Because it can't. Gas will fill the available space. We're a tiny speck, a blue marble with air around it and an infinite space vacuum. Psh, all the air's gone, we're dead.
So there's no gravity.
There is no gravity. Wait a minute. I just dropped my iPhone and it went down. Is this more dense than the medium around it? Yes, it's more dense than the air. I'm going to answer your question.
Do the same in the water. It's going to fall, but it's going to...
Yeah, if I had a helium balloon, rocks, and ping pong balls, and I held them over a pool, open my hand, balloon's going to go up, it's less dense. The ping pong balls and rocks are going to go down, they're more dense in the air. Ping pong balls will stay at the top of the water, the rocks will go to the bottom. Buoyancy and density. The question you should be asking is, why doesn't it go sideways? What makes it go down, right? And the thought experiment it has is you got all this stuff, you got a rock in your hand. Snap your fingers and the entire Earth disappears. Everything is gone. It's just you and the rock.
Okay.
Open your hand. Which way is it going to go? Which way is down?
There's no way down.
So it's an experiment. It's just a thought experiment. You can't do that. So why do things go down? There has to be a reason. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's an electrostatic flow between the Earth, which is neutral or negative, depending on how you categorize it. The sky is a positive charge. So anything off the ground has a positive charge around it. and then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. So there's a flow from the sky down to the earth. That sets the downward vector. Now, the globalists say that the electrostatic flow, the electrostatic charge is, ready for this, 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity. This is what they say. We can take things. We had some helium balloons, and they were holding a button like 2 inches off the ground. It's just neutrally buoyant. You ever play with a balloon? And we got a wire going to a Van der Graaf generator, and we add a greater positive charge to it. It goes down. Discharge it. It goes back up. So we just manipulated what? Gravity or the electrostatic charge? Electrostatic charge. So we manipulated it, independent variable. We proved that's the electrostatic charge that made the difference. Gravity's never been proven. It's never been isolated. It's never been separated from electrostatics, right? People go, what about the Cavendish? Electrostatics, right? So we can also add a negative charge into something and it'll go up. Sometimes when lightning strikes right next to somebody, they go flying in the air. Did it turn off gravity or did it change the electrostatic charge of the Earth for a split second? Right near them. So they go flying. So back to 10 to the 36, 10 with 36 zeros. The globalists, this is the globalists. I don't believe them, but they say in their science that the electrostatic charge is 10 to the 36 stronger than gravity. So let's pretend gravity is real. We're having a tug of war between electrostatics and gravity. So one G versus one electrostatic, which is 10 to the 36 power stronger. Would that be equivalent to getting a flea on one end of the tug rope and every single person on Earth on the other end? That's not a fair comparison. It's worse than that. So they're telling us gravity doesn't exist. If I got a grain of sand and I made it 10 to the 36 power bigger, what would you compare that size to? To guess, just for fun.
I know.
Big as the house, the moon, the Earth?
The Earth? Even bigger?
10,000 times bigger than the known universe. I don't believe it. I don't even believe that number exists because there hasn't been that much time, right? They're like, they say the Earth is 13 billion, the universe is 13 billion years old. That's not even close to that number in seconds. The cosmological problem that Michio Kaku says is that cosmology is off by 10 to the power of 120. 10 to the power of 120? That means they're making that many mistakes. So let's just go to benefit of doubt. Cosmology is making 1 million mistakes every second. That's a lot of mistakes, right? So 13.5 billion years of existence, you would have to make 1 million mistakes every second for 13.5 billion years, and then you have to multiply that number by 10 to the 90th. So what happened there is you just short-circuited. You can't process numbers like that because they're ridiculous.
Okay, so they're saying that the universe is 13.3 billion years old, right?
13 point something billion.
But how do they say, well, how do they know it's 13.3, not 13.2 or 13.4? And we're talking about 0.1 billion years.
Because NASA.
Oh, okay. And what's the source of their information? Where do they get it from?
Because it's true.
By default.
Because where did you get your degree?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because scientists. Because of science. Okay. They say flat earthers are science deniers. No, we hold science feet to the fire. We measured the earth.
Have you ever had a debate with a globalist, with the scientists?
So we did. We my co-host Angels of Light. We debated this PhD guy, super smart, and he was coming in to like see if he can straighten us out. And he literally like, holy crap, that's incredible! Oh my God, if that's true, the Earth can't be a ball. And he saw it. It was amazing. It went viral. It's all over the place. But there's the anti-flat earthers. There's literally paid agents. Some of them are just possessed. Some of them are paid that are here to scare people away. They'll go like when this video comes out, they'll jump in your comment section. I'll give you a list of them if you want to ban them. It's up to you.
No, please do, guys. If
But you're gonna see they're gonna come in. They're gonna say Dave's a scammer. He's just trying to sell his app. You know, his app leaks data, the data that you put in to share with everybody else, right? They're gonna say all these things, but they'll never offer a globe proof. And the other thing is when you see these people commenting on everyone's comments, right? Go look at their channel. Guess what's on it? all the globe proofs, which is nothing. Empty channels. When you see a pro flat earth comment, go look at channel, real person. The anti-flat earthers, empty channels. What's going on there?
Yeah, because they're not the content creators.
They're not real. They're not real people. They're agents. They're making channels. There's bot farms. They just come after us. I got a set of agents that are after me. They'll go. I did the Bradley here in Vegas 6 months ago. They're still in his comment section. You go leave a comment today, boom, 5 minutes later they're on you. 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
It is. It's good for the algorithm. They're making more flat earthers than the most flat earthers are, because the stuff they say is absolutely ridiculous. So
The flat out.
yeah. So there's Santiago to Sydney has a stop or a waypoint in Texas. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Oh no, it's the video. I'm sorry. We're on the video. I'm on the video.
Yeah.
So we have any sound or?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
25 east. But there is one here, this coordinate, it's very interesting. Okay, this one, right? So I tried to see, I checked this coordinate, and it happens that this coordinate is, interpreting them correctly, closest airport to your coordinates is Waco Airport.
But meanwhile, that flight was saying it went over the Southern Ocean. The map they showed the customers on the plane was over the Southern Ocean, but it had a waypoint over Waco, Texas. You can't see what you're flying over. When they're flying at 40,000 feet, you can't see anything. You don't know what you're looking at.
You can't see it.
You can't see anything. And when we go up, when I'm flying here, the Earth was white just at 35,000 feet. But if you go really high, it turns into Technicolor. It turns into the globe. It's so stupid. All right, so basically this whole thing is pointing out that they're lying. That sometimes the real the real data slips out.
Let's go through a few pictures.
So go back to the next one. So on the left, trip from Hong Kong to Germany, and that's the flight route that they said they took.
Well, it's not Germany; it's the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom, but they stopped in Germany for a reason. 8 hours, so it's a 12-hour flight. So a third of the way through the flight, a mother traveling with her kids and husband died suddenly. Weird, don't know why, right? And so there's no room on the plane, so she's dead in her seat. Has to sit with them. They flew 8 more hours before they landed. They would land immediately. And the reason they didn't land, they ended up landing in Germany. They might as well just kept on going, is because if you look on the bottom right, they were over Russia. And if they landed in Russia,
makes no sense.
We can say they landed in Russia because the Earth is flat. And the other problem is if they land in Russia, they probably would have gotten help. They would have been very cooperative, and that could spark world peace. We don't want that. So they couldn't land in Russia because it would have proved flat Earth. So they didn't. Think about that family, those kids next to their dead mother. Imagine sitting next to your mother for 12 hours, let alone dead. Okay. No offense, just making a mom joke. Right?
I would sell everything that I have just to have a conversation with my mom since she's dead.
Yeah. Same here. So go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the World Cup in Doha. So when they left, now people say, they have to pick up other pilots and planes and passengers. This was their own private plane. They wanted to get back to Buenos Aires. So they went to Rome to get fuel.
Were the Argentinians?
The Argentinians.
The one that
So they left Doha. They flew to Rome to get more fuel. And then they flew to Buenos Aires. It kind of like, why did they waste that side trip? Why didn't they just fuel up in Doha and fly over? Go back. Go back.
Argentina's national soccer team flying from Doha stopped in Rome to fuel up. Yes, confirmed. After winning the 2020 World Cup in Qatar, Argentina's flight flew from Hamad International Airport, Doha, to Rome for a technical fuel stop, then continued. Why?
So go back. Now look at it on the right-hand side on a flat Earth map. Doha, Rome, and then they're over the ocean. It's the best place to fill up. Straight line. Coincidence?
They would end up stopping in Africa, Central Africa.
Well, they stopped in Rome, and then they continued.
Okay.
Go to the next one. We got dozens of these. Dozens.
This is what? New Zealand to Argentina, yeah.
No, we looked at that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all I sent you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's enough. I mean, there's more, but on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you go to the images section and you just search Southern Flights. There's dozens of them there. There's a Southern Flights FAQ section, shows you videos, explains it all.
Okay. There's one thing that you think that nuclear weapons are not real.
I know that they're not real.
How come? What did we see in Nagasaki? A movie?
Yeah. Well, no, we saw a big bomb go off, and there's actually video of troops stacking pallets and pallets of TNT at both locations prior to the bomb. 3 days later, the trains were running, the sandwich shops were open, the flower shops were open, people were back to work. The buildings that had fireproofing didn't burn down. That doesn't sound like a nuclear bomb. There's no radiation.
In Hiroshima and in Nagasaki after...
I have a video that I can show you.
People were let to live, work there.
Yeah, we have to...
Okay, Hiroshima. Residents began returning within days to weeks.
Yeah.
Nagasaki, same story. The reason is that atomic bombs, unlike nuclear reactor meltdowns like Chernobyl and airburst explosions.
Bullshit. And nobody was allowed to write an article or take a picture. They were put in jail. Only one guy worked for the Associated Press or whoever was the only one allowed to write articles and take pictures. So that's controlling it. And if you look at, when they show us the bomb blowing up and the table the things blowing over, it's all crazy. Share. I'm going to show you a U.S. military nuclear bomb video, and you tell me what you think. Go ahead. Didn't come
through yet.
Oh, it's coming. It's halfway there. It's got to go to space and back.
Right.
Yeah.
But then we have those cables under the ocean, right?
Yeah. That were here before Christopher Columbus discovered America. Some of them. All right, there you go. Oh, did it come? There you go. So this is a video. So there's now stop the video. So you see those clouds in the middle? Move your mouse up there. Yeah, there. The two little ones and the big one. Now the bomb's going to go off on the land to the left of those clouds. Now a bomb, it rips flesh off of bodies. It atomizes things, right? Good. Bomb explodes. Watch those clouds.
In air.
Doesn't matter. In air, on the ground. It explodes right through the clouds. The bomb clears. And I'm going to show you a side by side. The clouds are still exactly the same. Go forward a little bit. It'll, good. There you go. Right there. There are the clouds.
So this is cinema.
This is
what you're saying. This
is all cinema. It's all nonsense. It's all made up. It's all to keep us in fear. Right now, everyone's worried about Israel because of the Samson option. No, Iran agreed to everything except the enriching of uranium. They're not going to stop that, right? Netanyahu, for the last 2 decades, every year is like, Iran's 2 weeks away from a bomb. Iran's 6 months away. Iran's hours away. Constantly. Boom, boom, boom. It's fear. It's fear. So whenever you hear anyone say anything about nuclear bombs that's from a political country level, know that they're in on it. And know that it's part of the play. On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down to the bottom. There's a square banner. It's got nuclear bombs on it. It's easy to see. Go there and listen. There's some podcasts there where, don't just believe a podcast. They did the research for you. They made it easy. They will walk you through it, and you can make up your own mind, right? I don't want you to believe the nuclear bombs aren't real. I want you to know that they're not real. Bad news is, they have weapons that are far worse than nuclear bombs.
Okay, so you think that those weapons do not exist at all?
They don't exist. Nuclear bomb is just a theory. It's just nonsense. Nuclear energy is real. They boil water with plutonium. Galen Windsor went around. He was a nuclear expert. He he would eat uranium and swim in the reactor pools of nuclear power plants.
Okay, what about Chernobyl then?
It's all bullshit. There's people still living there that are defined. There's plants that have gardens. They still live there. It's all, that was a land grab or whatever.
So us seeing two-headed cows is bullshit?
Yeah, well, there might be a two-headed cow. Maybe they made it, but that shit like that happens. There's more defective humans in America than there is in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right?
Okay, so you said there are worse than nuclear weapons.
Well,
What are
there's
those?
directed energy weapons that are incredible. Again, it's probably released on purpose. They talked about when we just attacked Venezuela that they used a weapon called the discombobulator. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that basically makes people bleed from the eyes and their mouth and the nose, and they can't think and they can't operate their weapons. Hey, makes perfect sense to me. I haven't seen that personally, but I've heard testimony from people that talk about what happened in Iraq, where people were just liquefied with directed energy. Look at what happened on 9/11. Right? If you don't understand what happened on 9/11, and nobody really knows exactly, but some weapon was used that turns metal and concrete into dust, into micro dust. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't thermite. Could have been used some thermite to take down the building, but the building atomic bonds, if they were whatever that's called, that holds matter together, were weakened. So the steel became like balsa wood, right? And then if the thermite went off, it would just blow it to smithereens. But, these weapons, like they used in Paradise, California, in Maui, these weapons are really scary. If they wanted to, any of these wars, they could accomplish whatever they wanted in a day.
Okay, so do you think Americans only have it, or Russians, Iran, China?
I think they're all in on it together. I think that you got to get over the separate. Our whole lives, we talked about the Cold War, America versus Russia. How many people died in that war?
None.
0. How many skirmishes were there? None. It's just a fucking story. And what does that story do? Makes you in fear. Makes you live in fear.
Okay, so your opinion on Soviet Union is way different than ours, because my country was occupied by the Soviets for 50 plus years and then turned our country into a shithole, communist shithole, because of the communism.
Well, again, capitalism, communism, socialism, it's all just getting us fighting against each other. So did you hate the family that lived next to you or whatever from another country? You don't hate them. It's the governments that are socially engineering everybody to hate and be in fear. And hey, you know what? If the governments come and said, hey, we're locking down, you're not allowed to go outside for the next 2 weeks, to flatten the curve, whatever.
2020.
Are you gonna comply? I didn't comply. I didn't put on a mask. I didn't get turned into a human pincushion. But I have to. I have to keep my job. I want to go to a baseball game. Bullshit. You don't have to do anything that God didn't tell you have to do. They make up rules and they call them laws. They're not. They're just stupid mandates. The mandate. They say, it's mandated. You know what a mandate is? Mandate is when Obama takes his wife out to a movie. It's a mandate.
And everything that comes after. Okay, Dave, I believe we have...
Nuclear bombs, not real. Take the time, learn the truth, and then you can free yourself from the fear.
I believe we have lots to talk about. I would love to have you on again. I know you have to run, but I'm always having the same question that is always the same at the end of my podcast.
Go.
Let's have 2 assumptions with you. Assumption number 1, the President of the United States of America is the most powerful human being on planet Earth. An assumption.
That's an assumption. I have to go by that? All right.
Yes.
All right. I just want to say I am not going to be a part of this, but I'll go. I'll play along. Go ahead.
Assumption number 2 is you become one. You become the President of the U.S.
Yeah,
Once you do so, you have all those secret agencies, 3-letter agencies at your disposal.
And I'm in control.
Yes. They come at you and they say, congratulations, David,
awesome.
You're awesome. You're the president now.
Yes.
We know everything. We know all. We have all the answers in the world.
Okay.
What would be your first question?
I'd shut every single one of them down.
No. You can ask.
Oh, I can ask any question?
Any question, and they will give you the truth.
I'm going to get one question?
You have lots of them, but
I can ask
the most important one is the first one I want to say.
Wow. And I'm asking, why are you hiding the true cosmology of our world? Can I ask that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Let's say they give you an answer. Just we want to quote unquote
Control the people,
control the people, right?
Yeah.
So you, as a president of the U.S., would you expose it to the public?
Yes, absolutely. In a second. Now that could cause some major, like if 10 years ago, if you told the world the earth was flat, or, 10 years ago, if you believed in aliens, you were a nutcase. Now, if you don't believe in aliens, you're a nutcase, right?
I don't believe in aliens.
What?
I think that this is a projection.
Yeah, but you're awake and aware, but normal people all are believing in aliens now, right?
Okay.
We have drones flying over our towns. There are drones over our town, like unidentified drones. And they're like, we don't know what they are, but they're not dangerous. What? That's the official statement from the White House.
For 2% extra of your taxes, we're going to protect you, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't ask questions. I would just shut everything down. I would shut down the Israeli Revenue Service. I would shut down everything.
Okay.
I would shut down everything. And then I would tell people, we're gonna build a new system, a system that is, again, I would need help. I would need help to build the whole
3
thing.
seconds later,
I'm dead?
you're dead. I believe so.
Well, I don't believe so, because this is what I believe. I believe that God has our back. The only way they can take you out is if you live in fear and you allow it. I don't allow it. I don't accept their authority. I don't pay attention to them. And I build my best life. People say, well, Dave, if you're right, how come they haven't taken you out? God, that's why.
Jesus Christ is Lord?
Yes. But I'm not an organized religion guy. I think the Bible is the most incredible history book. I think that God is within us. I think they took the fact that God's within us in the 1700s. They got all the religions got together and said, we're going to take that out and say that you have to come through the church, through the mosque, through the temple, whatever, to reach God. So that way they can control the masses. Now, some people need that. Some people need a personal trainer to go work out. Other people can manage themselves. I like to think that I am good at managing myself. I keep myself in shape. I eat right. I work out. Nobody tells me what to do. I do my job. I take care of myself first. Then I help others. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you are useless to other people. If you want your kids to be good, you first have to make sure you're good.
You have kids?
Yeah.
What do you tell them? The earth is flat?
Well, I don't push it upon them. My kids are older, right? My kids are in their mid-30s. We have 4 kids between my wife and I, and we don't push it upon them, but it's coming around to roost. Like my daughter, she's a bartender at a big sports bar in New York City, and her friends are turning to flat earthers, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you look like Flat Earth Dave," right? And they're putting it all together. She's really big into music, and so I don't know if you ever heard of the Tedeschi Trucks Band. Great, incredible, 10, 14-piece band or whatever. She's a huge fan, and the drummer reached out to me years ago and goes, "Hey Dave, big fan. Hey, I don't know if you know us." I'm like, "Yeah, I know you." It's like, "We're coming. I want to give you some tickets." So I brought my daughter to the concert, and she's like, "Wait, what's going on here? How do we get backstage passes and everything?" And so she's already there. She already gets it. But they're just living their life. I don't push this upon anybody.
Okay, let's say your daughter would be a 5th grader.
Yeah.
She goes and learns
I wouldn't send my kid to public school. That's child abuse.
Okay.
You're better off having your kid at home, teaching them life skills. Get up in the morning and say, what's your son's name? Richard, do you know how to make avocado toast? And he'll be like, no. And you tell him. And then have him make you avocado toast. And then the next day, have him do it again. The third day, you know what he's going to say?
Let me make you.
Hey, Dad, do you want some avocado toast? Guess what? You taught him a life skill. Amazing. Let kids learn. You know why the kids hate school? Because it's boring. You know why the kids that are rambunctious at school? Because they're way past the nonsense that they're teaching them. You can learn everything. We're all autodidactic. We can self-teach ourselves, right? If you want to learn how to be a plumber, go work with a plumber. Volunteer with a plumber. Mm-hmm. Right? Learn the business, right? When I was going to college, senior in high school, everyone's like, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Everyone's like, oh, I'm going here, I'm going here. A couple of my friends are like, where are you going? Well, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go build houses. One's like, no, I'm going to work for a plumber, right? All these guys are retired on their yachts, okay? They don't have college debt. They're retired. They're doing great, right? But we're taught to, 18 years of indoctrination, then go to college, get in debt, and then work for a friggin' place that has nothing to do with your education and
Pay off the debt.
Yeah, and to pay off the debt. And, and pay tax on everything. Your tax is taxed. But again, learn the truth about taxes. It's incredible. There's so much to learn out there.
Dave, God bless you.
God bless you.
And I'm willing to have a 4-hour sit down with you next time we meet.
Here's my request. Go to my website, get my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's $3 one-time charge. A lot of people go, it's $3 a year, whatever. It's $3 one-time charge. Some of the features on there, maybe 5% of them that involve interacting with other people and sending messages and all sorts of stuff. It's $11 a year subscription. Big deal. Just get the app, go to the FAQ page, watch the daily video every day, educate yourself, and then tell me I'm crazy. If you think I'm crazy, prove the earth is a globe. Just one proof, not 10, one, and you win 3 Bitcoins. That's a pretty fair deal.
We saw pictures from NASA.
Pictures from NASA. You want to look at some pictures? They're all fake. Go Google pictures from NASA. Go ahead.
Earth pictures of NASA.
Yeah. NASA admits they don't have any photos of Earth.
Okay. They admit it.
Yeah.
How can I fact check this?
They say they have no photos of Earth. NASA will never use the word photograph. They just show you images. You can click that one. So there's 2012 and 2002 picture. Look at the size of the United States. Both balls are the same size. What happened? Right? America is getting fatter. Look at that. Okay. All right. So go to the next one.
More land, more opportunities.
Go to the next
one.
Go to the next one. All right. Yes. Yeah, there you go. So on the left there, 1978, and then in 2017, they showed us another picture and they said global dimming. It's because of all of the, the cow farts and the cars, right?
Literally, this is what they said?
This is what they said. Yeah, that okay. Because of the pollution, look how dim the earth has got. Look at the clouds. Look at the clouds. They're the same clouds. Mm-hmm. That's from NASA. Go back to another one. All right, these are from NASA. Are they all fake or are 7 of them fake? Because at least 7 have to be fake. What can we verify? We'll take the 2012 picture and we'll measure across. We can drive across Mexico to Baja and we could say that's 934 miles, top left, right? We can verify that because down here on Earth, right? Mm-hmm. We can verify that. Would you agree? Yeah. So it's 934. They say the diameter, the width of the Earth is 7,917 miles.
Okay.
So I should be able to fit 8.5 of those red segments in between those 2 lines.
Correct.
I can't even fit them on the page. What does that tell you?
Okay, 900 miles. It's almost 8,000 miles.
Yeah. So I should be able to fit 8.5 of them across the diameter of the Earth. It's not even close. I can fit 3.
Diameter of the Earth.
Ooh. You don't need to check it. It's correct.
What's the diameter of the Earth? Yeah, 77926.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it got a little bigger. Okay.
Ask it how it found that, how it figured out the diameter.
Earth's diameter is a well-established, stable scientific fact that has been measured precisely for decades using satellites.
Oh, satellites? That's not how they figured it out.
And other methods.
Yeah. So that's just a story. That's just a story. The story is that Eratosthenes figured it out with his sticks and shadows experiment. You remember the story, right? He figured if I have a stick and there's no shadow, my buddy 500 miles away, if there's a shadow, that means the Earth is tilted, right? Because the sun rays come in parallel, even though no one's ever seen parallel rays, they come in crepuscular, right? From a local sun. A faraway sun, the rays would all come in straight. Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If it's so far away, the light would be like this.
Yeah, but it doesn't. They come in crepuscular. So I'm looking for a pillar. So if I had a pillar here, right? Like let's say this is a pillar, and here, and I had a light directly over this one, there'd be no shadow, right?
Right.
But if one over here, there'd be a shadow that goes all the way out over here.
Correct.
So Eratosthenes had a difference in shadows, did some math, and figured out the sphericity of the Earth. We could take his same math and figure out the sphericity of this table. It's just math. It doesn't tell you the truth. It's just a way to describe things. He's assuming the Earth is a globe, therefore his math makes a globe. It works perfectly on a flat Earth.
So guys, please comment below how can you explain this thing? And do it for yourself. Measure it in Google Maps from here to here. If it's 900 miles, if it's 8,000 miles, it has to be at least
Here's what you do.
Segments.
Go to flat Earth. If you Google, is the Earth flat? You're going to get no. If you Google top 10 reasons the Earth is flat, you're going to get top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe. That should be suspect enough that you're not getting fed the answers, the question that you're actually asking. Go to my website, flatearthdave.com. Scroll down to where it says crash course. You can do it. Flatearthdave.com.
Flatearthdave.com.
Right. And so there's the app right there. You can get the app if you want, Google Play or Apple. Scroll down, go back. Crash course. Click that, and that'll bring you to a playlist of videos that Google is hiding from you. If you watch the first 5 videos, you'll be done. You're finished. The 5th one, Flatten the Curve. That one's all military people talking about how the Earth is flat and level, and all of their planes and ships and weapons only work on a flat Earth.
So I'm gonna rewatch it once I edit it. I'm gonna have a lot more questions.
Okay.
And if we can meet, let's say in a month or two, or you're
back
somewhere,
here.
No, somewhere you're in the Western Hemisphere.
I'm in the
Western.
I'm on the East Coast, near New York City.
Yeah, but you travel, right?
I do. I'll be in Spain in September.
No, thank you.
I'll be
Do you travel West Coast?
I'll be in Mexico in January.
Okay.
I might be in Texas in September. I don't know yet.
Okay.
All right.
So
or
guys,
November.
Please do your homework and please leave your comments below.
Yeah. By the way,
study for
Dave's an idiot is not a globe proof. Right? Dave's a scammer is not a globe proof.
I agree with you.
Dave's app uses the Haversine formula is not a globe proof. Show me your globe proof and I'll shut it all down. I'll shut down my whole channel if you can come up with one globe proof, and I'll give you 3 Bitcoins. So thanks, man.
God bless you.
God bless you.
From the bottom of my heart, I would love to say thank you for watching this entire episode till the very end. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and click here or here and watch another great episode. God bless you.